Okay, welcome in. Welcome back. Sorry about that. I set up my last live incorrectly, but I am here now. I believe I've got everything the way I should have it, so I am going to start where I left off. I just got done putting clear gel top coat on top of the nails that we painted in our earlier live, and I'm doing that. Let me show you what I'm doing, and I'm clearing that. I'm using the Finger Paints gel polish, and I'm gonna, after letting this I use regular polish, 2 coats, let it dry all day. It has to be absolutely completely dry, all layers, before you put the gel over top of it. But it's possible, and it gives you a little extra strength. I'm going to do that while we listen to the chief financial officer of the law firm that Alex Murdaugh was working for. And she is going to testify about the day that she confronted him, which was, I believe, about like I said, I'm being reminded of all of this stuff now from years ago. But I believe it was about a week before the lives of Paul and Maggie were taken. So it just shows you not only the pressure that he was under because of the boat accident, that they were getting ready to dig into his financials, but now the family business, the family law firm, was starting to notice that there was money missing. And he was scrambling, trying to figure out ways to hide this, ways to keep his reputation, to not let all of his lies out. I mean, there was a lot at stake for him. So let's listen to her, because she really, I think, without even realizing it, kind of started part of the panic.
Jeannie Seckinger, Seckinger.
Ms. Seckinger, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
And like I said, this is like 3 hours long, so we're not going to watch the whole thing tonight, but we'll watch as much as we can while we get through this 90's inspired nail art. And I was just feeling a little nostalgic today, and then we'll pick back up another day. So
awesome. Tell the jury a little bit about yourself. Could just kind of introduce yourself. Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school?
I grew up in Hampton, South Carolina, graduated from Wayne Hampton, went to the University of South Carolina, where I got my BS in accounting. After that, I worked a number of years in public accounting. Then I transferred into as a financial analyst with Westinghouse in Hampton.
Oh, I'm going to mute myself just so you can't hear me banging around and miss anything that she says. But please feel free, talk in the chat, say hi. Oh, I went vertical because for whatever reason, YouTube is not pushing my videos out horizontally. So I've got both streams going. If you don't like vertical, you can go back out and go to my page, and the other stream will be on there. So it's totally up to you about what you prefer. And that's why I put, if you can see, I've got the chat up on the screen. That way you guys can talk to each other, see each other, because it does do 2 separate chats. I don't like that part of it, but yeah, it's just not pushing my videos out. I didn't get any notifications. Nobody in my family in my house got notifications on my horizontal, but the vertical they did. So I don't know. I think I broke my account. I don't know what I did, but I am going to mute just so you don't hear me banging around, but I'm still watching chat. So feel free, talk to me, ask me questions. Tell me what you think. Did this jury get this right the first time? I think they did, but I'd like to hear everybody's thoughts as they listen to all this.
And after the birth of my second child, I stayed home and worked for my husband just a few years. And in 1999, I came to work with the firm on a part-time basis, doing some special projects, and have not left. And that job has grown since that time till I was over all the business aspects and financial aspects of the law firm.
All right, which law firm are you talking about?
Peters, Murdaugh, Parker, Elstrop, Dietrich.
Is that PMPED?
That's correct.
Is that what the firm is currently known, or is it known by a different name?
We are now a separate entity that we've reorganized as Parker Law Group LLP.
All right. And do you know the defendant, Alex Murdaugh, over there?
I do.
Do you see him in the courtroom?
I do.
Can you identify him, please?
He's in the blue jacket and white shirt sitting between Jim and Dick.
Your Honor, can the record reflect she's identified the defendant? Yes. Was he a partner in the law firm you're speaking of?
He was.
Is he a partner anymore?
No,
And we're going to talk about some of those things, the reasons for that here today. Is that correct?
that's correct.
You're very welcome, Amanda Jerry.
All right, so I'm going to call it PMPED, what we're talking about. Is that fair?
That's fair.
All right, well, tell me, you talked a little bit about your role in PMPED. What would you consider your role, or how would you define your role, particularly as we're moving into June of 2021?
At that point, I would be CFO/COO, basically over all office management and all financial affairs of the office, over hiring and firing, HR, just any.
Yeah, you're in horizontal. See, nobody's in horizontal. Everybody's in vertical. So I can't figure it out.
Like I said, any business aspect of the firm.
So CFO, that means what?
Chief Financial Officer,
And COO, that means what?
Chief Operating Officer. And so I kind of combine those jobs.
Are you a lawyer?
I'm not.
Or are you an accountant?
I am.
Do you have a CPA?
I do.
You said you started working for the firm when?
August of 99.
And then when did, was Alec working there at that time, the defendant?
I think Alec came to work the year after me.
Okay. Did you know him prior to that?
I did. I've known Alec since I was 16 years old in high school.
Y'all went to high school together?
We did. He's a few years behind me, but we were in the same school.
And you worked with Alec at the law firm up until September of 2021?
I did.
Let's talk a little bit, if we could, about the law firm itself. And tell me a little bit about the financial structure of the law firm. How does it work that fees come into the law firm, and how do they get dispersed at the end of the year? Can you explain that to the jury a little bit?
Yes. So every fee that any attorney makes is property of the law firm. It comes into the law firm and goes into the law firm's accounts. And it is sitting in kind of what we call a holding account that we just amass the money. We have another account called the operating account that we use to pay the daily bills of the law firm, wages, insurance, office supplies, et cetera. Each attorney in the law firm is also an employee of the law firm. They receive a paycheck just like most people do, with W-2 taxes taken out and W-2 at the end of the year. When we get to the end of the year, we figure the net profit of the law firm, basically everything brought in and everything paid out to date. And we distribute that money based off a ratio of what that attorney brought in to total. So if an attorney brought in 10%, he's going to get roughly 10% of the net income at the end of the year. And we do that in the form of a bonus one time at the end of the year.
When is that bonus typically paid?
That bonus is typically paid the last week of December every year.
And is that for most cases, and most of the partners, as we're going to call them in the law firm, is that the vast majority of their compensation of the year, is getting it all in one lump sum at the end of the year in December?
That's correct. They receive a salary of $125 through the year that they're paid every 2 weeks, but the vast majority of their money comes in that one bonus check.
Okay. Now, you mentioned there was a salary. Looking back at June of 2021, what were the partners in the law firm? What were they getting as a salary?
$125,000 a year,
All right, $125,000, and that was broken up into checks like
26 times a year, yes.
Okay. And then, so that has to be accounted for before the bonuses are paid, correct?
That's correct.
Salaries not only for the partners, but also for all the other employees.
That's correct, all staff.
All right, and is there other overhead that has to be accounted for out of the fees before that bonus can be paid?
Yes, all the other overhead is the basic operating expenditures like I've discussed: rent for the building, insurance coverage for the employees, office supplies, case costs that we advance for our clients. We pay things as we go during the case. We pay experts, record fees. All of that is part of overhead. So after everything that's paid, everything brought in, after everything that's paid out is what we call that net income that we distribute.
Is there some sort of 7.5% fund or offset that has to be accounted for as well before the bonus is paid?
There is. We have what we call 7.5% kind of profit sharing, and everybody takes their gross fees less their portion of overhead. We take overhead and divide it by the number of partners. And so you would take, let's just use numbers. If your gross fees were $100,000 and your overhead was $50,000, you have a net of $50,000. And we take 7.5% of that and put it in a pot and divide it back evenly in between everybody. And that purpose is meant to cover when somebody has a high year or a low year. It kind of helps people out and it helps account for differences and expenses between each attorney.
So all of that has to be taken care of before the bonus is paid out to the partners at the end of the year. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then whatever money's left over is divided up based on the percentage of the fees that that particular partner brought in of the whole for the year. Is that
That's correct.
So if you had a better year, you're going to get a little bit more than somebody who didn't have as good a year.
Absolutely.
Over time, being the CFO, did Alex Murdaugh have a very lucrative practice?
He did.
Were there times where his bonus was high six figures?
Definitely.
Were there times his bonus was seven figures?
There has been.
And was it typical for the vast majority of his compensation to be in that one-time bonus at the end of the year as opposed to the $125,000 salary?
Yes, his and everybody else's.
That $125,000 salary for these individuals was a fairly small part of the compensation.
Correct.
Now, one of the things that you mentioned is that at the very beginning, as you said, all fees belong to the firm. Is that right?
That is right.
And I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 310 to your testimony real quick and see if you can recognize this particular document.
I do. This is the employment agreement that each of the attorneys in the firm sign.
All right. Take that back real quick. Can I have the element, please? 310. I would offer 310 at the sign of notice.
No additional objection, Joe.
It's admitted.
Let me let this element do that real quick. Let's try it again.
One of the things I believe they're trying to prove is that even if he did absolutely nothing, he still would have had quite a lucrative income that most of us could have lived on just fine.
All right. So is this the exhibit?
Oh, well, of course. Thank you, my man, Jerry. You've been the same to me. You've been kind and fun and a great addition to the conversation since day one. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
310, is this the first page of that agreement?
Yes.
All right, and on your little screen up there, can you read that all right?
Yes.
Okay. If we look at talking about employer and employees, now we've been talking about the law firm partners, but in the agreement, what are they referred to as?
They're actually shareholders. So we refer to them as partners in the fact that they all work together and support each other. But because of the type of tax entity we are, they're shareholders. It's just a legal and accounting determination. But in fact, you'll see them referred to as shareholders.
All right, but in this agreement, they're called employees, correct?
That's correct.
Now, just real quick, you talked about paying out the bonus at the end of the year, and that's where the vast majority of compensation for the partners goes out. Is there a tax reason for that? Do y'all clear the books at the end of the year?
We do clear the books at the end of the year. We function as a C corporation, which means any money that's left in that C corporation would pay a tax too. So to avoid double taxation, we pass that money down to the partners to the best of our ability.
All right, and so do you try to zero out the books?
We do.
All right, and that's to avoid taxing on anything that remained in the firm accounts.
Correct.
So let me ask you this. If the firm essentially zeroes out the books by paying these bonuses to all the partners at the end of the year, how do you operate in the few, in January and February where we're at now before fees start to come in? What money do you use to do that?
So typically, a group of partners will go in and loan money back to the firm to cover our first couple months of operating expenses. And as we recover money through the year, we'll pay them back and pay them off. So we're basically starting at almost a negative by borrowing that money.
All right, and so some of the partners will loan money to the firm to operate until there's enough fees that come in to generate enough money. Is that correct?
Just a little stop as I'm wiping off the sticky layer before we do the nail art. That's imperative. You've got to do that. So make sure you use either acetone or alcohol to wipe off that sticky layer before you get your paints out.
That's correct.
Do the partners have to do that, or is that something they can do if they want?
That's something that they can do if they want.
Was Alec one to ever do that?
Alec never did that.
He never did. Okay. Before we go on back to this agreement, let me ask you a little bit. As far as the firm accounts, you mentioned there's an operating account, correct?
That's correct.
And then there's a client trust account, correct?
That's correct.
Trust account.
Trust account.
Tell me what a client trust account is, please.
So the trust account is a fiduciary account, meaning that we have the responsibility to maintain
I love it, Jerry. Thank you.
and safeguard that money. It's where the account, whenever a case settles, that the money that is paid from the insurance company or individual from the defendant is put into that client trust account. And that is also where the money is dispersed out to any clients or any lien holders or anything to do with that disbursement. It's also where we collect our fees and expenses from.
And are there legal obligations and money in the client trust account to ensure that that money only goes to the legitimate places it's supposed to go?
That's correct.
And if the law firm wins a case, whether by settlement or by trial, any recovery they get, does it go in that trust account first before the law firm gets paid?
Everything does, yes.
Now, I'm going to go back to exhibit, the employment agreement, I believe is exhibit 310. And right here in line 3, right there, can you read that to the jury, please?
Services for the benefit of employer. All professional services rendered by the employee shall be rendered as an employee of the employer, and all proceeds and remuneration received therefore shall inure to the employer's benefit.
All right, and this is the agreement signed by all the partners, correct?
Correct.
And back in 2021, it was signed by Alex Murdaugh, correct?
Correct.
And all the years prior, correct?
Correct.
And what does that provision mean? Explain that again to the jury.
That means that any work they do providing legal services and any money earned by them belongs to the law firm, not the partner to the law firm. It should run through the law firm's books.
It has to go through the law firm's books before it can.
Correct.
And then they have to wait till the end of the year for it to be accounted for after paying all the overhead and the salary and the 7.5 and all the rest of it.
That's correct.
If a law partner were to divert fees to himself personally and not send them to the law firm, what would that be?
Stealing?
Stealing. Okay. All right.
So we heard that. It said stealing. So I'm going to go off camera for a second, get my paints together, and then I'll be right back on. But I'm still here, you guys. So. And I promise this gets a lot more interesting once she gets into the day that she confronted him. Hi, Truth. Good to see ya.
Tell me a little bit, if you would, about the management structure of the law firm. How does it work? Just very quickly.
So each attorney, apparently, they all, I can't even speak, they all have equal authority and equal choice. But basically, we'll have a little committee each year that we can go to with day-to-day issues and make some basic decisions that are then gone on and voted by the whole firm. I report directly to each and every attorney. So I would handle day-to-day obligations within certain authorities. And if I had an issue, then I would go to this committee or somebody who is present, because a lot of times attorneys are out of the building traveling and hard, and it would kind of go up the rank from there.
Okay. Was Alec very involved in the actual management of the firm?
No.
Were other partners more involved in the management of the firm?
Yes.
Tell me, what was your observation of Alec as a lawyer in the office? What was your observations and characterization?
Alec kept different hours than a lot of the rest of us. He came in and he would work late. Always loud, always busy, always in a rush. He had the gift of gab, but he always seemed last minute and hurried and frenetic.
Okay. Always last minute and frenetic?
Yes,
What about his cell phone use? How was he with a cell phone?
constantly on the phone.
Constantly on the phone. So what were your observations of him as a lawyer?
I think Alec was successful more, not from his work ethic, but from his ability to establish relationships and to manipulate people into settlements and clients into liking him. So he did it through the art of bullshit, basically.
That can be an art.
Mhm.
Did he, in your estimation, in your judgment, was he more of a technical type lawyer, or was he one that really understood how to use the emotion of a case?
He would use the emotion of a case and the emotion of his clients.
Did he understand the emotional value that the sympathies of a case could have?
I would,
He's asked her to testify as what he understands, what's in his mind. Object.
Let's sustain the objection.
With Alex, your observations of Alec as a lawyer, what skills did you see in how he was able to value a case?
I would think that he was able to read the client. And it seemed he always got higher settlements than it looks like they should appear, going back when we reviewed everything. So I think that he used his personality more than technical skill. I think that, we look back and we see things that were manipulated and set up, and I believe he did that a lot with his clients as well.
You mentioned, did Alec get good results? Did the defendant get good results?
It appeared that they usually did, yes.
Were they very lucrative results?
Yes.
Did you have any observations in working with Alec for 20-some odd years about his memory?
I think that looking back, where I thought he was chaotic and didn't remember things or kind of got bored with details sometimes and wouldn't finish things off. I really think looking back, as we've gone back and pieced together a lot of this, that we saw where he would tell people one thing and another person another. So in my opinion, looking back, I think he had almost a photographic memory, to keep all the balls in the air that we now saw were in the air. It appears that he had to have a really strong memory.
Turn my phone real quick. You had mentioned before that for the firm to operate at the beginning of the year after it cleared its books, that it would loan from or take loans from partners at their option in order to sort of give some seed money until fees started to roll in. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 428 to your testimony, and just have you take a look at that and ask if you recognize those documents as it relates to a particular instance involving the defendant.
I do.
All right. And tell me about this instance. What happened here, please?
Okay, so this is in 2017, a check for the payment got mistakenly written to R. Alexander Murdaugh instead of his brother Randolph Murdaugh. So the loan payoff was written to Alec.
All right. Let me slow you down. So does his brother work for the law firm?
His brother does work for the law firm.
And
And
what name does he go by?
he goes by Randy Murdaugh. His legal name is Randolph Murdaugh IV.
Had Randy Murdaugh loaned money to the law firm?
He did.
Had Alec Murdaugh loaned law?
No.
All right. And so what happened then?
So as we said, we had the clerical error. And a few days later, Alec came to our staff. And it's not quite clear which staff because our records don't show that, but
Okay, Murdaugh break. No. There's nothing's happened. There's this whole crew of idiots out there I commented on someone's post earlier that it's basically like a really bad version of The Hangover, like a low budget version of The Hangover. And instead of carrying a satchel, they're wearing bicycle helmets. They're out in Vegas right now. Supposed to go to CrimeCon. They're not going to CrimeCon, which I kind of know something about that, which I can't say out loud right now, but I will later on after some other things happen about that. But, so yeah, now they're out in Vegas, wild, the whole Arizona crew. You have JLR, Ted Investigates, Criminal Network, and I'm not sure who else, but those are the three. Those are the three that I've seen circusing around. So, yeah, like I said, it's going to be a really bad version of the movie Hangover. So, but yeah, the news is pretty much. I mean, they're still kind of talking about her here and there, but there's nothing new. There's nothing. They did send the hair that Nanos sent to the lab in Florida. The FBI got it, and now they've sent it to Quantico, and they're going over the hair with which I believe that was the DNA sample that they had. But other than that, that's really it. And we've been following Lynette Hooker case. Now that has really jumped off. And I'm going to find some time to go over updates on that tomorrow. But yeah, they found that his GPS information does not match the paths that he took. Because apparently it sounds like they got GPS data off of one of his watches, and saw him circling areas out down by his Elbow Key, I think. So starting to wonder if did he sink her stuff. And oh, that's the other thing. A dive belt was missing off of the boat, some dive equipment. And they said possibly one of the motors. So they're wondering if maybe he weighted her down and dumped her, or if he weighted her things down and buried her somewhere out there. So now the Coast Guard has gotten permission from the Bahamian police to go out there and do a more thorough search some areas that they didn't search before. And yeah, so hopefully they'll get some news on that. Oh, and that's it. It's not even, I think it's partly for a thrill, but it's also for money. It's a grift, because they could, and there's been some really disrespectful behavior happening out there, still sitting out in front of her house. And, you know, this is a 420 friendly channel, but I don't think it's appropriate to sit and smoke your dope out in front of a kidnapping victim's home in their neighborhood. The neighbors want them out. They're putting rocks and cactuses in the easement to keep them from sitting there. And, you know, now I will say, at least, and I'm not sticking up for him, but JLR finally moved it to the parking lot of the sheriff's department. And that, if you're going to protest, I believe that that's where you belong, is in front of the place of where you're protesting. People, he's got this group of fans that just will follow him and believe him no matter what. It doesn't matter. They don't care. You know, at this point, everybody has had the opportunity to read his past and decide if they believe him or if they don't. Or yeah, I think it is worse. It's just for money, because, and I don't know about the rest of the guys, but I know, listening to Angela, JLR's ex-girlfriend, well, several of his ex-girlfriends, he's literally never had a real job in his life. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine never having a real job in your entire life? And I mean, now granted, for a lot of that time, he was in prison because of his crimes. And he's been open about, well, somewhat open about that, about his financial crimes, which is bad enough. But at this point, I feel like I did my due diligence. When I found out he was not the person that I thought he was, I let my people know this is who we were cheering for. And there's been plenty of other people, I mean, covering him like glue on a fly trap, okay? I mean, on fly paper. That's not fly trap. I don't know if there's such a thing as a fly trap. And yeah, he's got, on June 2nd, he's got a court hearing for a DV incident that happened in Florida between he and Magnolia. And I don't know, it's going to be interesting if he shows, if he doesn't. And see, that's just it. Mooching and doing all of this, like, I don't know. It's too much work for me, okay? I would rather just work. You know, that was one of the things when I started this channel and I wanted my business connected to it and stuff. Like, I didn't want social media to be my only source for paying my bills. Like, that is scary. And especially, like, look what happened to me now. I was monetized for 3 days and I lost it because of this big AI sweep with YouTube. And if I had counted on that to take care of my family or my bills, oh my gosh. And oh, thank you, my man Jerry. I try. I'm not perfect, you know. Sometimes I'm in a bad mood. Sometimes I say stuff I shouldn't. I mean, I'm human, but to just wake up every day and your only hustle is to get people to hand you money. Like, it's not really, and for, you're not creating anything. They're literally just sitting there asking the same questions that all of us are asking for free. We're doing it for free, you know, many of us, most of us, because it is something that we are interested in and that the people that we talk with are interested in, and, you know, etc. And I don't know. I just don't get, like, that's got to be such a stressful way of living, to not have anything that is, you can count on, you know. I mean, because you really can't count on that. You have to use it as kind of like an extra perk, but that's it. And sadly, with this big thing, like I said, it's not just me. I mean, there's channels that literally, I lost a couple $100, okay? But there's channels that lost thousands of dollars that they're just not getting paid because of this. And they are creating content. They spend money to buy programs and to edit, and they have production teams, and they have all of this, and they're in the same boat that I am. But on X, there's literally people in tears, like depressed, like can't leave their homes because this being taken away from them was such a gut punch. And that's so sad. But what happens if this all goes away? What happens if the bots get him, you know? I mean, or someone like him? I don't know.
A voided check, he acted as if he'd lost this original check and had another check written. So a replacement check was then written to Alec again, which was a mistake again.
I forgot to unmute myself again. And I just want to just update everybody on what I'm doing. I have got these colors. I've got some black. I always put a black or a white out because it is a nice color to kind of pop off of other colors. But then I've got just the colors that we were working with. I've got a neon green, neon pink, purple, and then I've got the white over here, and then I've got that kind of neon blue, which I need to put something under there because I can see it running for the hills. And if you were with me earlier today, or if you decide to watch the replay of the beginning of all of this, you'll see that I already made a big mess with purple nail polish. So we don't need any more messes. I'm a boy mom. I have enough messes to clean up.
The law firm?
He did.
Had Alex Murdaugh one and all?
No.
All right, and so what happened then?
So as we said, we had the clerical error. And a few days later, Alec came to our staff, and it's not quite clear which staff because our records don't show that, but a voided check, he acted as if he'd lost this original check and had another check written. So a replacement check was then written to Alec again, which was a mistake again.
Did that second check get cashed?
The second check got cashed pretty much immediately within a week or two. And then about a year later, the first check got cashed as well. And that's when I caught in the system that he had cashed both checks. And looking back, I realized that the mistake had been made, that somebody had hit, their names are right beside each other in the vendor list, and that they made a clerical mistake, and that he was paid money that he was not owed.
All right. Ultimately, did he get that money twice that he was not supposed to have received?
He did.
And ultimately, was it because he claimed that he had lost the first check?
Correct.
Ultimately, did he cash both checks?
He did.
And cash the original one a year later, is that
Correct.
All right. Was he confronted about this back at that time when it was detected, I guess, in 2017? Is that right?
He was.
And he was confronted at that time?
He was not, I don't remember that he was confronted by me. I know that Danny Henderson spoke with him about it, and Alec just claimed that he made a mistake and thought that he had paid the money, that he had loaned the money that year, and Danny chose to kind of let it go and sweep it under the rug.
Did he pay it back at that point?
He did pay it back.
All right, so that happened and the explanation was given and then he was allowed to pay it back. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And everybody moved on, right?
That's correct. I have to point out that it was, these attorneys worked as a brotherhood and were very family, and they trusted him and accepted this explanation.
What was that word you just used? You said it was a brotherhood?
Yes,
And so when the attorneys are dealing with one another, when the attorneys are dealing with you, how are y'all dealing with one another? What's the basis of that?
trust.
Trust. And so over the years, when Alex Murdaugh would tell you to do a transaction or anything like that, what were you relying on?
His word and trust.
Are you generally familiar with what's been known as the boat case?
Yes,
All right. And do you remember that occurring around in February 2019?
I do.
All right. And again, I'm not going into the specifics of the boat case. What was your general understanding of the boat case? Well, let me ask you this. Was his son Paul charged with driving the boat in the boat case, to your knowledge?
Yes,
And was Alex Murdaugh sued civilly in the boat case because of the death of Mallory Beach?
yes.
After the boat case, did you notice any changes in Alex's behavior or his demeanor around the office?
I can't say that I really did up until November, December of late 20.
Okay. And what'd you notice then?
Didn't really notice it then, and we can go back and notice it now. That's when he started making some disbursements that he was stealing from that started getting sloppy. So the things that I noticed are more in hindsight.
And I put this exhibit up on the screen. Let me get ahead of myself. This is exhibit 428. Is that all for evidence?
Hi, Jackie. Good to see you, hon.
Objection, Chairman.
All right.
Submit it without objection.
428. This is this is the loan check you were talking about. Is that right?
That's right.
This is where Alec erroneously received a check meant for his brother Randy,
That's right.
and then ultimately managed to get the same amount twice. Is that correct?
That's right.
All right. And how much is that check for? I can bring it to you if you need to see it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
I'll bring it to you. Screen over here is bigger than that.
It was for $121,358.63.
$121,000, correct?
That's correct.
When you received the check, did Alex say, no, this isn't mine. This isn't my $121,000 check?
No, he didn't.
Now, you mentioned, you started to talk about some things you noticed in late of 2020, and let's just set the table a little bit more before we do that. You mentioned disbursements. Tell the jury, before we see some paperwork, tell the jury how disbursements go about. Is there certain paperwork that's done, and how do the lawyers interface with the finance stuff for that to be accomplished?
Okay, so a disbursement after a case is won, or what we call settled, the money comes into the client trust, just like I talked about. A disbursement will recap how much money was won, how much attorney fees, how much expenses were withheld or earned for our firm in that. And then it will list any loans or liens that need to be paid off. And what I mean by that is like medical liens, medical bills, insurance companies getting their money back for items that they paid, and then it will show the balance that goes to the client.
And so then how do they interface with the finance staff? What does the finance staff do as opposed to when the attorneys prepare those disbursement forms?
It comes over to our finance department. We have the supporting documentation with it, and we will process the checks based off the attorney's signature. Those then go back to the attorneys that handled the case or the paralegals that handled the case. They meet with the client and explain the disbursement to them and give them the funds.
Meal break. Thank you, Jackie. Yes, this, I could not believe that he got a new trial. But I mean, I couldn't believe that Becky Hill did what she did. But I mean, oh my gosh, just, I can't even believe it that she would do such a thing. I really think the jury got it right, but because of this little piece of, inappropriateness and her own greed, but there's so many things. I've been watching these, and there were so many things that I had forgotten about. And so I thought, I know a lot of you guys that we've talked about, this. I wasn't in chats when this trial was going on, so I'm really interested in seeing what a lot of you guys have, think about. And my man Jerry, it really is. Let me see. I don't know if you can see. You see my nails? I've just had my last set on for a couple months, and my nails are really good. It's really about how you prep your nails before you put them on. That's what I need to do. And I'm going to put I'm going to put nails back on because I took them off for planting, and I can't handle it. I need my nails back. So, I will, in the near future, the next week or so, I'll be putting my nails back on, and I will try to schedule it so everybody can see when I'm going to be on. And, and I'll try to put up, on my community page too, because people aren't getting my notifications, but I'll show you. It's all about the prep that you do and putting them on in a manner that you get a really good seal on your nail. But I don't have any file lines. I don't have any dips in my nails. I have no polish on my nails, nothing. This is just my natural fingernails. And now, granted, I've been digging and scrubbing stuff like that, and like in my hands, and like cleaning out bowls of coconut oil and jojoba oil and all that stuff. But that's what it really boils down to. So I use this is the glue that I love. This is literally the best stuff in the world. And it's not mine, but it's my Beauty Secrets. It's this tube. It's not the bottle. It's not the brush. It's this. It's the drip proof, clog proof, which I always glued the top on by accident, but it's like maybe $4. But this stuff is nice. It's got a really nice viscosity to it. It dries with pressure, just like super glue does. And I really get the best adhesion with this. And I find too, like when I go to soak it off, and that's the other thing too. If you want to take your nails off, never rip them off. Always soak them in pure acetone. It's this, and it's not acetone polish remover. It is pure acetone. There is a difference. And I buy my stuff from Sally's because it's about the same price for this size bottle as it is for a bottle of Q-Tex. And I don't care what Q-Tex says, or it has moisturizers in it. There's no way that if you're using acetone, that's wiping all that off. So it doesn't do anything good for your nails at all. But I love this stuff. This is thebomb.com. I will never ever. It's gonna have to take a miracle to get me to find something that I really, really like better than that, because that just is beyond phenomenal. And I said before too, I'm using this dotting tool, and I'm just going to be doing just some little here and there's and everywhere's on the nail, just in the different colors. And it doesn't have to be a lot. Just, do a little bit and then go back and say, hey, you know what? I think I want some purple here. I think I want some blue here. And like I said earlier, I'm just using this stuff. This is the original, the OG nail art paint. It costs less than $2 a bottle. It's water soluble, so that's why I painted them. I put the clear coat gel over top, and then all I have to do if I mess up is take one of these guys. It's a lint-free swiper or lint-free pad, and use some water, and it wipes right off. You saw me do that other one. I didn't like the line that I did, so I took one of these. Now, the only thing is you got to remember, it's not gel, so it's not going to cure. So you have to, I'm going to do these colors. I'm going to go back with my dotter where I think I need some dots, some green dots, and then I'm going to let it dry. Oh, actually, I didn't want to do it on that. I wanted to do it on the purple. Oh, thank you. Yeah, and this was just the base. And that's what I'm doing now is I'm just painting some little bit of nail art to really take it back to that kind of, I don't even know what you call them. We just had so many funky colors. Now, I never wore anything that was quite this funky, but as you can see, we're just doing little lines and stuff like that, just making some funky. And I have a gal that used to come to the market sales, and she used to love when I do the freestyle, like, 90s inspired, 80s inspired colors and designs. So I just felt like it. I felt like getting nostalgic.
Okay. Is the finance staff relying on what the lawyers are sending them to determine what checks should be cut?
Yes.
All right.
With support.
With support.
Yes.
Ultimately, are they trusting the attorneys to provide them the correct information?
We are.
All right, so you mentioned that something that happened in late 2020 that was the first things that you started to notice in the wake of the voting case that was a little different. And tell the jury what you were about to talk about.
As I said, in late 2020, I really didn't notice it at that point. But some of these items that we're going to discuss started happening at that point. My discovery of things started coming to a head in May of 21.
May of 2021.
Yes.
All right, and tell me what was the first thing that came to your attention?
And so one thing that came to attention was a disbursement that the fees were made out and processed to Forge Consulting. And what that meant is that the fees weren't going into our personal account like they should. They weren't going to the firm. Forge Consulting is a true company that you can do structures of attorney fees, but the way that this was done was not correct. To do a correct structure.
Let me slow you down so we can unpack this a little
Okay.
bit. All right. Let's first talk about what is a structure. What is a structure? What does that mean?
So a structure means that you can set up a fee in the agreement with the insurance company that you can put that money into an annuity that you'll get it out later. You can avoid taxes now and take them out when you're 65 or whatever year you determine. So it's a way that they can defer income for retirement. If they're having a good year, they can do that.
So maybe an explanation would be kind of like the lottery. You can either get your settlement in one lump sum or you can get it paid over time, correct?
Correct.
All right. And so this is what a structure is getting it paid over time.
Correct.
And are there tax benefits associated with doing a structure?
They would avoid taxes at the year that they made the fee, and they would pay the taxes when they got it out, similar to your retirement 401k.
And is it sometimes common for plaintiffs' lawyers who get recoveries for clients to have their clients get the settlement in a structure as opposed to getting it in all one lump sum so that there's some security over time with that money?
It is definitely a vehicle that can be used by plaintiffs' lawyers. We don't do it very often within our firm. And when it is done, it has to be, every partner needs to know about it and needs to be agreed upon, because obviously that money's not coming into the firm to help with overhead and expenses. So we have to agree on it, and we have to account for it in our allocations at the end of the year to determine bonuses that we're going to pay out.
Sure, but I'm talking about with clients right now. So clients that receive a settlement, they can
Okay.
elect to either get it in one lump sum, or they can get a structured annuity over time where they get it however much a year for the however many years it goes. Correct?
Yes, that's true too.
Kind of like a lottery, you get the whole big thing, but with taxes, or you can get a bigger sum over time.
That's correct.
And so some clients might choose to get it over time so that their money is more secure over a longer time, correct?
Correct. And you generally see that when it's a minor involved or.
Well, that was perfect. I got to call her. I haven't talked to her. She's been healing, and on my shoulder, I've been laying down and icing every time I get. So we're both broken right now. We normally talk every single day. This last week or so, it's been weird. I haven't talked to her that much.
Or somebody with special needs that has a disability of some sort.
And so what is Forge Consulting, the legitimate business Forge Consulting? What do they do?
They set up structured annuities for clients like we're talking about. They do.
Oi, my man, Jerry. Good luck to you. Thanks for coming in and hanging out. I appreciate you. Thank you. And make sure you hit the thumbs up on your way out.
Special needs trusts for people who are injured or going to need life care plans. And they handle that kind of, they have a few other things that they do, but I'm not familiar as much with those services.
They provided services over the years, the legitimate company, Forge Consulting, legitimate services to the law firm and its clients over the years, and helping them set up structured settlements.
We've used them 250 to 300 times.
And who's kind of like the main guy at Forge Consulting, the legitimate business?
Michael Gunn.
All right. Now, you mentioned that we're not talking now about the client structuring their settlements, but what if a lawyer wins a big case and wants to, so he's going to get a huge fee. And let me ask you this first. Generally, what is the legal fees for the firm when they win a case, whether by settlement or by trial?
Generally, they're 33% to 40%, and it depends on what stage the case was in or the work we had to do. So if we settle a case before we have to start doing summons and complaints and depositions or going to trial, we take 33.33%. If it goes further, we do 40%, and it can go to 45% if it's on an appeal. But generally speaking, it's between a third and 40%.
Thank you so much, Jackie. I'm on X too. I am Claws by Cuts, because I couldn't get the Y on there for some reason, but I'll have to find that in a few and post it up here. Drew keeps telling me I need to do my link tree so I get all my stuff up, and I need to do that. Maybe I'll work on that tomorrow.
So let's say that somebody's a partner, and let's say they win a case of $10 million, and it was a 40% one, so they're going to get a $4 million fee, correct?
Correct.
All right, let's say that they decided that instead of taking that fee, that $4 million fee, they want to structure that fee just like a client would. Can they do that?
They can do that, and that's what I was referring to before, with the authorization of the other partners and making sure that we have enough money to operate and enough money to account for it. If they do that, it's supposed to be done in the release, and the insurance company will send the money directly to Forge Consulting and not through us.
Okay. Because it can't go through y'all directly or it doesn't work.
Or you would not get a tax benefit of it.
And if an attorney still had to do that, they're going to have to work everything out with y'all to make sure everything's accounted for the end of the year bonuses and everything else.
That's correct.
Is that a common thing that people in the firm were doing?
No.
All right. So kind of setting all that up, did you, what came to your attention as it related to the defendant, Alex Murdaugh?
So in May 17, there was a disbursement called Hirschberger that the fees were said, I'd have to look at the exact disbursement, but it said structured fees, Forge, and it had an amount.
Let me get some mark real quick.
Yeah.
No, this is the chief financial officer from the law firm, the family law firm. And what she started noticing was these checks that were like disbursement checks from some of these lawsuits were not going through the proper channels. They were cashed, but they weren't going into the law firm bank account. And what she was saying is basically all the other partners would put in money after their bonuses to help get the law firm through their first couple of months of expenses, but Alex wasn't putting in any money in either. He started going through things and finding that checks that were supposed to be put into the law firm account were not. And what they ended up finding out was he was putting them in one of his own accounts. He was basically laundering money through all these different accounts and different people, is what it sounded like to me.
All right, I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 429 to your testimony, and have you just flip through that real quick and tell me generally what that is.
Okay, this is the disbursements to do with the money recovered in the Hirschberger case. And this one had multiple disbursements.
All right, but let's just talk about the one you were just referring to.
Okay.
I'll show it to you.
This
On the third page of this exhibit, is that right?
That's right.
All right, pick up your story. What did you notice that came to your attention?
So it says PMPED attorney fee, and in parentheses, it had Forge. The check had been made out payable to Forge, and I knew this was incorrect. So I went and had a discussion with Alec about this. And basics of the discussion was we needed to know about if they were going to do a structured annuity, we needed to do it. Also told him that the way he had done it was incorrect, that he would not be saving any tax consequences, that he needed to properly set it up with the insurance company on the front side.
All right. And why wasn't it done right? Why were you telling, at least from what you knew at the time, why did you think it was not being done right?
Basically, because it should have gone from the insurance company directly to Forge. We would not write a check and send it to Forge for a structured fee.
Let me put this up on the screen just real quick.
No other objection to 429.
All right, this time I move, states 429 into evidence, I believe, without additional objection.
Second.
All right. So is this a disbursement sheet you were talking about?
Yes, sir.
And this is generally the first one the jury's seen, but is this generally how disbursement sheets look that are prepared by the law firm?
Yes, you generally see the caption and then our inside number, which is the matter ID. You'll see the recovery and who's paid out. Then the next section should be your fee and expenses.
All right, so you got the fee right there, correct?
That's correct.
And then you have expenses, and what are expenses?
So the expenses are the case costs that we paid going along, cost to get depositions and pay transcribers, medical records, expert opinions. Sometimes vehicles are involved that we store. So it's anything that we pay on behalf of that case.
All right, and so they'll have to come out of the recovery too, correct?
That's correct.
And that's separate from the attorney's fees, right?
Correct.
All right, so when y'all settle a case, you're going to get your attorney's fees, but you're also going to get paid back any costs and expenses you had to litigate the case.
That's correct.
Two separate amounts.
Correct.
All right, and then we've got a lien. Explain to me what a lien is and how those affect disbursements.
So a lien is, it could be as simple as paying a doctor's bill that was guaranteed, or it can be paying back subrogation, which means subrogation just means if you had insurance that covered it personally, your Blue Cross Blue Shield, and we recovered money, Blue Cross Blue Shield or Medicare and Medicaid, if you had that, would then be seeking their money back. So that would be a lien.
Sometimes if somebody who got injured, like in a car wreck or something, might have medical bills and there's a lien for that.
Yes,
And sometimes funds might be withheld to satisfy those medical bills.
that's correct too.
Is it common for the law firm to then negotiate with the medical provider, like a hospital or whatever, and see if you can get that medical?
Oh, yes, definitely. That was another one that I followed. So I will be following that Letitia retrial. I've been waiting to see if there anything news come out. You know, right now they're just probably getting everything ready. But yeah, definitely. I have in one of my previous lives, she's right on the thumbnail. I have her interrogation video part of it to remember some of the things that she said, and it's horrible. And I found a little bit of some of the testimony earlier today. And so I figure we're going to try and keep, because if things go the way that they normally go, they probably are going to be going to trial maybe right around the same time. They're talking with Alec like 3 to 6 months. So, you know, this fall, this Christmas, we should have this trial to be watching out for. And I'm assuming that Letitia's is probably going to go the similar route.
Bill down to a number they'll settle for.
That is correct.
And then if you save any money between what their bill was and what you get them to accept, is that additional money that should go back to the client.
That's right.
And that's very common in these types of cases.
Yes, and generally, we will not hold up dispersing the money to the client, waiting on that to happen, because it can take a while. So we may have a disbursement that leaves some money in our account, the balance of those bills while we're negotiating them, and then we'll do a second disbursement to pay those clients that money or the provider the money.
Right, so you pay them the big amount first, and then if you're lucky enough to settle for a lesser amount, then whatever's left over, you'll send to them later.
Correct.
All right, so then down here we have then the ultimate disbursement to the beneficiaries, the clients. Is that correct?
That's right.
All right.
And if
then
there's
you're supposed
multiple as this one, you would see the split between the two.
to- all right. And just real quick, whose signature is that right there?
That is Alex,
And have you worked with him for how long, or did work with him for?
23 years, 22 years.
All right. And so you got very familiar with his signature?
Yes,
You recognize that as his signature?
yes.
And that's another one that I absolutely think the jury got correct. I don't think she should ever see the light of day again, ever.
All right, going back here to this disbursement, we had PMP attorney's fee Forge, and then you had that amount. And then what is this next page of this exhibit?
That's the cancel check payable to Forge for $83,333.33.
All right, and you recognize that signature on there?
I'd like to, because that's one of my biggest interests is trial coverage and watching trials. So that's what I'm looking out for to see. And I will do whatever I can to do that if I can. We can watch it together because, especially these two, because I think there's really going to be a lot of, interesting stuff, especially in this Murdaugh case, because like you said earlier, the death penalty can come up now, but also just because what are they going to let in, let out because of the impropriety of Becky Hill is, and now we watched earlier today the tour through Moselle, and it just, that's all, everything's changed, everything's different, that's been sold, so you don't have that tour or anything like that. And oh, thank you, Jackie, that'd be awesome. I will, once I put the paint down, I will share too. I don't know if you do Discord or not. I am just starting it and learning it, but I have a social Discord that I use, and thank you very much, Truth. And I'm going to start using that to announce when I'm going live and things like that. And so, yeah, I'll have that. I'll put that link up in just a few. And if you like, you are welcome to join that too and watch for updates and things like that. And this is I'm a total Discord verge. So I'm trying to, I've actually been really scared of it just because, but I feel like I've got a good group of people, you guys, we don't usually have any ruckuses in here or anything like that. So, and as long as nobody's putting their social security number up in there or anything, I think we'll be fine. So, yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah.
That's Alex.
And so when you were,
well, that was one of the reasons I was so excited to be able to find all of this testimony, but instead of it just being the 8-hour days from before, it's now I will, when it gets to the Alex Murdaugh stuff, there are some long streams, and I think I am probably going to do that once we get close to the trial, because we've got to watch this testimony, this idiotic testimony. And I think that, sitting and watching it together, and, you can come back in, rewind, whatever you need to do. But him testifying was the biggest mistake on the face of the earth. I'm glad he did it, but.
when we last left off, you were telling Alec that it had been done wrong because it had gone straight from the trust account direct to what you believed to be forged at the time, correct?
Correct.
And it can't go to a law firm or the tax benefits go away.
That's right.
All right. So you raised those issues with Alec. What was his response when you first talked to him about this?
His response was that he was not worried so much about the tax ramifications and saving the taxes, but that he was trying to get money in Maggie's name due to the boat accident that had happened in February of 2019.
All right. Go ahead.
He also brought up the fact that he was friends with Michael Gunn and that was going to try to work with Michael Gunn, putting up some fees during the year as a favor to Michael Gunn and to help him accomplish putting money in Maggie's name.
Did he say anything, and I apologize if you already said this, did he say anything in response to your pointing out that this isn't going to work for the tax benefit?
He said that's fine. He was not worried about the tax benefit so much as getting the money in Maggie's name.
Because of what?
The boat wreck.
Because of the boat wreck. All right. Did that concern you at all?
Yes, it did.
And why did it concern you?
Because that is hiding assets, and we're not going to be part of any hiding assets or any wrongdoing. So we were very concerned that he was trying to do that, and we didn't want to be a part of it.
At that point in time, did you do anything about it, or did you kind of table the matter for the time being?
We kind of tabled the matter for the time being. I had it kind of set aside, trying to figure out how am I going to account for this in my books, and we were going to go back and talk to partners and kind of figure out what we were going to do.
Ultimately, when is the sort of the drop dead deadline that you have to account for everything in the books?
Usually I will do our final closing and balance all the time, but usually we'll do that final accounting in December. So I really start drilling down and looking at everything and balancing out in December. But I knew I had till December to figure this out. And at that point, I was more concerned about how we were going to put it on our books and also letting the partners know what was going on so we could make sure that it was disclosed to his attorneys with the boat wreck stuff.
Just kind of just put that aside, but keep it in the back of your mind.
Right,
This is in May of what year did this happen?
21.
Later on that month, did you receive a communication of any sort from Alex Paralegal?
I did on Monday,
Who was
May.
that real quick?
That is Annette Griswold.
All right.
She's
And
one of his paralegals.
what communication did she have with you?
So I received an email. I was working in our Waldeboro office that day, and I received an email from Annette that said she needed to talk to me in private, and could I please meet with her when I got back in the office? So when I did get back in the office, we met, and she came to me with another concern that in another file that we had.
Right. And tell me what file was that?
So this file we refer to it as the Ferris file. And it was a case with Ferris versus Mack Truck that had a fairly significant settlement. And the concern was that we had only received the expenses. When on this, let me first say, this case was handled by Chris Wilson's firm, and they were handling the disbursement. All the money went through their account, and they drafted the disbursement and met with the client. So if that happens, typically the associate attorney will mail us our fee check and our expense check at the same time.
Let me slow you down. So this particular case, the Ferris case, was Alex Murdaugh the only attorney on that case?
In our firm, I believe he was, but Chris Wilson was the associated.
Is Chris Wilson in PMPED or is he in a different firm?
No, he's in his own different firm.
And does that happen sometimes that two lawyers, one lawyer from your firm and one lawyer from another firm will share a case?
Yes, we have quite a lot of that.
Right. And then ultimately those fees have to be split whichever way they agree to do that. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then sometimes if the settlement money or the trial money comes into that other firm, then they have to disperse the fees and expenses to you.
That's correct.
And tell the jury again, what was Annette's concern? Did she receive part of it, but not the other thing?
Annette received only a check for the expenses,
But not the fees?
not the fee, which is unusual. So she had already, unbeknownst to me, contacted my staff to make sure that we had not received that fee prior. And indeed, we checked and it had not been. So the conversation Annette had with me that day was her concern that we were missing the fee check. And she'd had some conversations with Vicki Lyman, who is Chris Wilson's paralegal. And that led Annette to believe that Alec had already had the money paid to him.
And that's the concern that she reported to you?
Yes.
All right. Hold on for me. I'm going to show you what's been marked as States 312 in 1 second.
That's actually my plan. I'm going to start working on Kick and Discord. I mean, not Discord, Kick and Rumble. I have a Rumble already. And I've got a Kick, but I don't have anything set up on there yet. So I'm going to work on that, and then I'm going to get all the links to you guys so that you know. I've got TikTok, Instagram, and a Facebook page. So
I believe States 312 is offered for admission with no additional objection.
that's, I think, what my
Submitted.
homework's going to be tomorrow.
All right, I'm going to show you this
Get all
packet
that
of
stuff
documents.
done.
I'm going to go to some emails that are within it. And first of all, I'm going to show you this one right here and just see if you recognize that, please.
I do.
All right, tell me what that is.
This is an email from Vicki Lyman, who's the paralegal for Chris Wilson, to Annette Griswold, who's the paralegal for Alex Murdaugh. And in it, Annette's questioning, why did we get the expenses and no fee? Vicki replied back, dear friend, it's only cost because your boss and mine got their fees once they were signed.
All right, so that's why Annette brought that concern to you.
Yes.
All right. Did you have any conversation with Annette about what to do?
Well, Annette expressed concern about tattling on Alec and perhaps getting in trouble for him or retaliation from him. So I told her,
What's the concern? What's the concern right now?
the concern is,
I just asked her what her concern was. Your Honor.
the concern was that money had been stolen.
There's an objection. Wait. Yes, sir.
He's asking her what Annette's concern was, and Annette needs to testify about her own concern.
All right, sure. You state the question, please.
I'll restate the question. What was your concern?
My concern was that he had stolen the fees and they were paid to him personally.
All right.
She was worried that he stole the fees. That was her first thought. So he obviously didn't have this shining reputation that everybody kind of believed that he did. I'm not real familiar with Kick. I've got to get. It looks cool. it looks cool and some of the things that you can do on there. And TikTok offered me a while when I first started my TikTok. They offered me a TikTok shop thing with their partner program over there, but it was right when all that hullabaloo about whether or not TikTok was going to stay, was going to, still be even a thing. And so I just kind of quit working on it because I thought I didn't want to build this big thing and then have, then have it taken away. So I was actually talking about that with Molly the other night. She's like, oh yeah, she's like, that would be great. And then I can, do my little shorts and stuff on my nails. And so because that's the thing too, is it's like, for me, it's not just about clicks and views. And it's not about making money off of YouTube or getting cash apps and super chats and stuff like that. I mean, while I do like those, nobody is going to say, they hate those, but I've got my own website and I believe that I can connect it to TikTok, and it goes through, I believe, like the website that I use, it goes through like the same, I believe, I might have to double check it. I think it's the same like pay service that like TikTok does, stuff like that. And so I don't get any of your financial information. It would all go through this system, and then they pay me minus what I have to pay them for, same as, like I said, same as that. So YouTube's really being a stink right now. So I want to branch out and make sure that I've got all my eggs aren't in one basket, so I can get my website and my business out there.
Did you, in this conversation with Annette, did you instruct her to do anything? Did you send any email?
I sent an email to Annette asking for.
Well, and I want to be able to have some fun, like I see on TikTok and stuff like that, like people doing like giveaways and like having fun game nights and stuff like that with their products and with whatever. And I want to be able to do that stuff. And I don't think you can do that on YouTube. I know you can't do it on Facebook because they give you the big exit sign.
Annette to get copies of the complete disbursement from Chris Wilson's office, along with a copy of what we call the general ledger printout, which would show the deposit and the checks, and the supporting document to the disbursement. Oftentimes, we'll just get a copy of the disbursement. So I asked for the full records like we would have in our office.
And what did you tell Annette to do once you sent that email to her?
Annette forwarded that email to Vicki Lyman at Chris Wilson's office.
All right, I'm going to show you what's been, was part of it, Exhibit 312, and it's marked as 2374 at the bottom.
That's what Molly said too. She's like, definitely Kick, Rumble, Truth, and a couple other people told me TikTok. And when I talked with Molly too, she's like, yeah, she's like, definitely TikTok. So I'm gonna get all of those going and just see where I'm at after that. So hopefully, I haven't found many crime and nail channels, so hopefully they're ready for me.
And just kind of read that email going up. Is that the email that you sent to Annette?
Yes.
And is that the one that you were asking her to forward on?
Yes.
To request additional information from Chris Wilson's office to try to get to the bottom of it?
Yes.
All right. And then we go to the prior page. Is that where Annette forwarded that document on to Vicki Lyman at Chris Wilson's office?
This is.
All right. Right, and just real quick, what was the date on that email when it was ultimately forwarded to Vicki Lyman at Chris Wilson's office?
That email was sent on May 27th, but Vicki was out of the office on vacation, so Vicki replied to Annette on June 2nd upon her return.
Okay, and what was the reply?
And the reply was just clarifying what documents that they needed. And at that point, Vicki replies back to Annette that she's not privy to that information, but she'll forward it on to Chris Wilson.
To her boss, Chris Wilson.
Yes.
All right, so have y'all gotten an answer at this point?
No.
All right, so what's the next step? What happens after that?
What? I know he's got a channel, but I don't know that. I don't know him personally.
So we're waiting for a while. And on Monday, May 7th, I went to Alex's office searching for him after lunch.
Real quick. After you sent this email on June 2nd, did Alec ever reach out to you or talk to you?
Oh, wait, does he do? He sells like the sports memorabilia and stuff, right? Is that what you're talking about? I think I know what you're talking about. Is that what it is? Sports memorabilia? Does he sell Hooked on Phonics? Because I think I need that. Yikes.
About the inquiries that you were making about where these fees were?
Yes, he actually came in the next day. First thing, Chris did not answer me, but Alec came in the first thing and said, that money's in Chris's trust. Why do you need all this information? And I basically said, we just need it for our records. It's what we have in ours and it's required for us to keep. He assured me that the money was over there and that he'd get the records and they'd get everything that we needed.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about, yeah. And I know YouTube doesn't like that. Like I said, YouTube doesn't like that and Facebook doesn't like that.
That was some point after June 2nd?
I believe it was the next morning.
All right. And did you seek him out or did he seek you out to say, hey, no, that money's there the whole time?
He seeked me out.
All right. And that's what he told you?
Yes.
All right. Around this time, did anybody else, did you have any discussions with any of the other partners about what was going on with this?
I did. I'd initially gone to Lee Coe because he's one of the partners that does a lot of the managing, and he happened to be the one that was in the office when this was going on that I could find and talk to. And he also helped me come up with the plan of how we were going to handle it so Alec would not think Annette was questioning. Mark Ball also knew something about it. So.
All right.
Yeah, see, that's the stuff I want to do. I want to be able to have fun with you guys. Like, because if not, I mean, I sit at home all the time. I need to pretend to get out. Does that make sense?
Was there any discussion about anyone contacting Chris Wilson?
After we didn't get him, that came later.
That came later?
Okay.
All right. So Alec comes to you and says, all that money's there. What's the next thing that happened that you did?
So the next thing that happened was on June 7th, I went looking for Alec.
Let me slow down. On Monday, June 7th?
Yes.
What year?
21.
June 7th, 2021. What happened?
Went to look for Alec, and when I got upstairs, he was standing outside of his office leaning on a file cabinet, and he looked at me with a pretty dirty look, one I'd not seen before, and said, "What do you need now?" Clearly disgusted with me, which kind of raised my hackle. So I said, "Well, let's go in your office and talk about it." When we went in his office, I told him, I have reason to believe that you received the Ferris money directly to you, and you need to prove to me that you did not. And he assured me again that the money was in there. I told him I still needed to see the ledgers or proof that it was. Again, he told me the money was in there, that we could get it any time. Said he was trying to leave it in there to decide what to do as far as structuring some more money or putting more money in Maggie's name.
You asked him for proof, is that correct?
Yes.
Proof that he didn't have that money?
Yes.
I've heard that, and I'm ready for laid back because this is for them to literally just change the terms on everyone like overnight is disgusting. And like I said earlier, it's not just, I was talking with Molly about this, and I'm like, I kind of understand with me. Okay, I am in my basement office. I'm selling, nails and products, and I'm going over true crime. I am not by far a polished channel at all. We watch trials together. We watch, different shows. We review updates in these cases together. That's what we do. There's nothing fancy about it. But there's literally channels that put thousands of dollars into editing their videos and doing all of this stuff, and they just got it ripped away from them. And now, steadily, literally, it happened today. As soon as I got off my live, I lost 2 more people. So there's my 2 people for the day, every day. And that's not normal ups and downs.
Were you able to complete that conversation on the morning of June 7th, 2021?
It was actually the afternoon of June 7th.
Afternoon.
But no, we were not able to complete it. During the middle of our conversation, he took a phone call, and the call was...
Plus, I've heard you can play good music over there and not get, snatched up. So, and I do much better work when I've got good music playing, too. Just FYI.
saying that his father was in the hospital and that there was nothing more to be done and he was terminal. So at that point, I've known Alec for since I was 16 years old, known the family forever, it turned into a personal conversation about how's your dad doing? How's everything doing? You know, what's going on? And I basically thought he was leaving to go to the hospital to attend to his father. So I left the office at that time and we did not discuss the money anymore.
You thought he was leaving to go,
I thought he was going to go to see about his father.
he had gotten a phone call about his father June 7th, 2021, correct?
That's right.
Did you have a conversation with Alec later on that day?
We did. Around 4 o'clock, my phone rang, and I remember because I was surprised that he was still there. And Alec was asking me some information about his 401k balance.
And why was he doing that?
He was doing that because he stated he had to get some documents and financials together for a hearing regarding the boat wreck later that week.
He needed his own financial information for a hearing for the boat case that week, correct?
That's correct.
Do you know when the boat case was? The boat case hearing
I
was?
believe it was June 10th,
June 10th?
21, within a few days.
Within a few days.
I've heard of them too. I've heard of that channel too. I don't know a lot of people. Like I was so silent. I never chatted in chat rooms or anything like that before. I just I watched very few people. And a lot of times I would end up watching stuff at night. Like after they weren't live anymore. And I just watched their video of them going over all this true crime stuff. Or we'd watch it at night in the salon, like as I was doing my late night customers and stuff like that. And so and I started my channel about a year ago, but I've just kind of always been in my little corner. And I modded for Molly. That was the only person I ever modded for. So I never really got to know I never got to get to know a lot of people in the true crime and trauma community. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, Jackie. I have my oldest is on the spectrum, and my youngest is, well, we're getting ready to get him tested because his pediatrician believes he's showing some of the signs. I think so too. So I totally understand that. Well, I don't understand. I mean, I don't know what you deal with day to day, but I give you major respect and props, especially being a foster parent, because, you know, I always thought that was just so much more special because you choose to take care of these children, you know, whereas as, you know, a mom, I had my children and of course I'm going to take care of them because they're mine, but oh, that's cool. That's what I'm trying to get Truth to do. Truth is awesome at true crime and Canvas and Crime too. Canvas and Crime she's doing really good and starting her stuff. And, yeah, it took me a while. It took me years to feel comfortable enough to, sorry, I screwed up. I put my finger in some paint. To feel comfortable to talk. And then I realized, you know what? I stood behind a chair for all those years. And I had 20 or 30 people in my chair a day sometimes that were all brand new to me that I didn't know. And I did it and I met them and some people I got along with, some people I didn't. Some people were nice, some people were horrible. And really and truly, the internet is very much like a hair salon. And so here I am. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot to shoulder. I give you mega respect. My oldest is 16 and my youngest is 5. So, but he's got quite a delay. So we're working with him. And like I said, we're going to, you know, I feel like he was given to me because I already knew what I was doing because of my oldest son. So, and that was my oldest son said to me, "What do we do, Mom, if we find out that he does have autism. And I said, you know what? I said that he is one of the luckiest little kids in the world because he's got a big brother and a mom who know exactly. We know what to do. We made all the mistakes with you, right? And so now, and you're here to help me. And so he's going to be okay. He's going to have that support and he's going to be good. And it takes a lot of patience, as you know, and a very special person. So good job, Mama and Nana.
Were you surprised to hear from him in the office?
I was, because I thought he was leaving.
Thought he was leaving because of the call from about his father.
His father.
Shoo. So yeah, that's right. Boom, boom, boom. At least I'm lucky because I've got the oldest that can I'm having to teach him, because of the social stuff, how to deal with little brother and to have patience, because that's, patience is golden. And it's funny because he starts to see now, he's seeing some of the things that he went through as a little one, and he's starting to understand them on a different level now, I think. So, some things get better and some things get worse as they get older. So it's just a trade, but we got to soldier on, right?
Did you go home at the end of work that day?
I did,
Went back home and had a normal evening?
yes, until about 10:30.
Tell me what happened at 10:30.
I got a call or started getting texts from friends asking if I'd heard if Maggie and Paul had been shot.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I thought this was the week before that she had confronted him. This wasn't. This was the day that he did this. Wow. I had forgotten that it was the same day. That even hits home a little bit harder.
I didn't know anything about it. They were hearing things on scanners. So I've sent texts to a couple of the attorneys and did not hear back until probably 2:00 in the night. Mark emailed me back or texted me back that they in fact had been shot and killed.
Was that shocking?
It was very shocking,
Was everybody scared?
very scary. Nobody knew what was going on, so very scary.
You said this law firm is like a brotherhood, correct?
That's correct.
Did everyone rally to Alex aid?
We did. Nothing happened that week at work. Everybody spent time with Alec trying to support him, bringing family meals, attending the funerals, so nothing happened all week.
After the murders happened, was anybody at all concerned about getting the proof for those missing fees after those murders happened at that point in time?
We weren't, because we were concerned about Alec. He wasn't working a whole lot. He was erratic. We knew he was taking pills. We were just worried about his sanity, so we weren't going to go in there and harass him about money when we were worried about his mental state and the fact that his family had been killed. It just wasn't even on our mind at that point.
Wouldn't be on your mind, would it?
No.
As a few weeks went on, did you ever receive any communication about those fees that kind of put the matter to bed at least a little bit?
We did. Lee Cope, who is one of the partners, took over. We decided we were not going to press Alec, but Lee made some contact with Chris Wilson during that time, asking Chris for information. And I believe after that, Alec searched me out again and said, "Hey, I've got that money." But it wasn't until I believe it was July 19th, I received an email that Chris had forwarded to Alec. Alec then forwarded the email to myself and Lee Cope. And in that email, it said, "I am holding the fees for the Ferris case," and he named the amounts and said, "They are available anytime that you should need them." So we're being told by outside counsel that the money is there.
Did you trust what you were being told?
Yes,
When you got that email, did at least for the time being, that looked like the matter was put to bed?
yes. I mean, these are members of the bar who've taken a sworn oath that we're supposed to trust, and they're telling us the money's there.
I'm still in exhibit 312. I'm gonna put this up on the screen. Do you recognize that?
That is the email that I'm referring to.
And this email comes from who to who?
Comes from Chris Wilson to Alex Murdaugh,
And then it gets sent to who?
myself and Lee Cope
From who?
from Alex Murdaugh.
All right. And can you read to the jury that paragraph right there? What was forwarded to you to sort of put this matter to bed?
I just saw your comment. Trying to get you to do a channel, Truth Warrior. That's what I'm trying to do.
Alex, as discussed, I am confirming that I'm holding in trust $600,000 in the Andrell Ferris case and $192,000 in the Denise Ferris case, which represent attorney fees. I will continue to hold these monies in trust until I'm instructed by you and your firm regarding payment.
Does that leave you to believe that those monies have been there all along?
Yes, with some hesitation on my part, because it still seemed a little shaky to me. But I've decided that I would have to believe what was presented to me.
And this, what's the date on this particular email?
July 19th
So we're just
of
over
2021.
a month after murders, is that correct?
Yes, a little over.
Yeah, I take it forward a little bit. Well, let me ask you this. In that time period in July and August, going into early September, is Alec in the office much?
He's not in the office very much, no.
Now you had mentioned before the first thing that kind of came to your attention, and what case was that?
Hirschberger and Ferris.
All right. At some point in time, does that Hirschberger matter kind of come back to your attention to take a look at that?
Yes, like I said, I had it sitting there on my desktop right in front of me. But due to work and personal obligations and things that were happening that summer, I didn't start looking again until September. And I decided to start combing through his fees for the year and just making sure that we had not missed anything else.
Before you go on with that, around that same time as you're doing that, does Annette Griswold come into your office?
She did. Incidentally, during the day, after I'd found what I'm about to discuss with you, she walks into the office and had found a check on Alex's desk that was made payable to Richard Alexander Murdaugh, and it was from Chris Wilson's trust account, and the amount, I believe, was $225,000, and it was signed on the memo, Ferris fees.
All right. I'm going to show you what's been marked as states 313. See if you recognize that.
That's the check I'm just discussing.
All right. Your Honor, this time I would move states 313 in evidence.
No additional objection.
Submitted.
And what is states 313?
That is a check from Chris Wilson's client trust account payable to Richard Alexander Murdaugh Esquire in the amount of $225,000 referencing Ferris fees.
Is it made out to the law firm?
No.
Who's it made out
to
to?
It's made out to him personally, Richard Alexander Murdaugh.
When you see this check, what, if anything, is your realization?
That he stole the money, that he'd been lying.
And what's the date on that check?
March 10th, 2021.
All right. So, and that brings you that check, and you're also looking at the forward. You said, explain what you were doing as well when this is going on.
So simultaneously that day, I decided to print out a listing of forged payments to Forge Consulting. And as I was printing those out, I was printing supporting documents and canceled checks. And as the canceled checks hit the back of my printer, I could see Alex Murdaugh's signature on the back. It would say Alex Murdaugh, and a lot of them were Bank of America. And as everyone came out, I started noticing it more and more, and the sickest feeling you could feel in the world. I knew that he was stealing all this money. At that point, William Barnes just happened to call over to my office and said, "What are you doing? How are you doing today?" And I said, "I'm about to throw up. You need to come over here," and showed him the checks, at which point he verified that he thought that was Alex's signature as well. From there, we called Mark Ball. Mark Ball came and looked over the information. We showed him the proof of the check with the $225,000, And Mark noticed that one of the cases that he definitely knew it could not have been going to forge because it was a workers' comp case.
Which case was that?
That was Thomas Moore.
Keep going.
So he knew that that money couldn't have been sent no matter what. We also discussed this with Lee Cope. We were trying to decide how are we going to handle this? What are we going to do? Lee Cope, it was decided that Lee Cope would contact Michael Gunn directly. And we named a few of the cases. We got a few of the names. Lee contacted Michael Gunn, asked him if there'd ever been, to please verify if there'd ever been any structures with that, and also asked Michael Gunn if they'd been banking at Bank of America. Michael's reply to Lee was that they had not banked at Bank of America in a number of years, and that he was unable to verify that those were indeed structured fees for those clients.
All right, so let me slow you down real quick. You researched what name in there?
Forge Consulting.
So you're researching in your system Forge Consulting, correct?
Yes.
To see any instances where it was an Alex Murdaugh case that went to Forge Consulting, correct?
Correct.
And did you find a number of checks?
We did.
You have access to the firm trust account checks on your system.
Yes.
And when you saw those checks, what did you observe that caused that sickening feeling you just described?
They were made to Forge instead of Forge Consulting, but also the fact that his signature was on the back and the endorsement on the back was Bank of America,
And what did that indicate to you about all those checks when you saw his signature on them?
that they were stolen fees, stolen money.
That's different from this, correct?
That's correct.
What's being stolen? What, if anything, is being stolen with Exhibit 313?
The check is being written directly to Richard Alexander Murdaugh. And then the other scheme is written to a Forge account, which we realized was a Forge bank account. We found in the office a few days later bank statements that said Richard Alexander Murdaugh doing business as Forge.
All right, so you say a few days later in Alex's office, you found some bank statements.
That's
Do
correct.
you remember what bank they were on?
Bank of America.
And I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 335 and see if you recognize that just as an example.
I do.
And what is that?
This is a bank statement from Bank of America with the name Richard A. Murdaugh, sole prop, which means proprietor, doing business as Forge, and it has Alex's home address as the contact on the bank account.
And you found bank statements on this account in his office, correct?
That's right.
Is this the legitimate Forge bank account?
It's the fake Forge bank account.
We don't have any additional questions.
I would offer a 335, Your Honor, at this time. Is that the name that was on the account that you found?
Yes,
And you called it, quote, fake Forge.
fake Forge,
And why do you call it fake Forge?
because there is a real Forge Consulting, but this was a fake company that he set up to mimic and look like and designed to look like Forge.
The real Forge, who's the main guy at the real Forge?
Michael Gunn,
And does this account right here in Alex Murdaugh's name have anything to do with the real Forge?
absolutely none.
Going back to Exhibit 313, this check. The problem is, who should have this check been made out to?
That should have been made out to Peters, Murdoch, Parker, Elsdorf, and Dietrich.
To the law firm, correct?
That's right.
All right, so who is not getting what they're supposed to get in this instance for this check?
The law firm.
When we start talking about the fake Forge account, who's generally not getting what they're supposed to get? Is it the law firm or someone else?
Generally the client, sometimes the law firm, but generally the client.
Generally clients. All right. Let me show you what's been marked as States 314. See if you recognize this.
Yes, this is a spreadsheet of all the payments made to the fake Forge, referencing each client and the amount that was stolen from each client.
And did you prepare that?
I did.
And is this based on an investigation that you had to do in the wake of all of this?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. I know that his name came up with all this JLR stuff because apparently they got a restraining order against him because when this case came up, he was going to their apartment and I was trying to interview him. I don't know the exact story, but I just had read something little online about that too. And I thought, oh, look, he's everywhere.
Yes, we did. We also had forensic auditors come in and look at this. We hired former FBI to come in and look at this, and we've also self-reported to the Office of Disciplinary Counsel, which maintains licenses, and we've turned over 10 years of information to them at least and provided them with all this.
Let me see real quick. Your Honor, this time we would move into evidence states 314.
Your Honor, we do not have any additional objections provided we understand that it's being offered for the limited purpose for which Your Honor instructed the jury yesterday. That's not character evidence. It's only the motive according to the state's theory.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Your Honor. All right. We're going to pick up on your story in a little bit, but you were saying that when Annette Griswold, around the time she brought you that Chris Wilson check that had Alex name on it, you also were bringing up and searching forged in your system, and that's when you saw all these, quote, fake forged checks, correct?
That's correct.
You mentioned that you went and talked to some partners about it and that sort of thing, correct?
That's correct.
We're going to talk about that in a minute, but just real quick, as we go to Exhibit 314, this is that spreadsheet that you prepared, is that correct?
That's correct.
And we have what's this right here?
That is the date of the check where the funds were stolen from.
All right, and then right here,
That's the client name.
all right, and then right here,
That's what we call the civil action number if it's been filed within the court,
all right, and then the category,
is what type that he did. Most of them are forged payments, or you see a couple other took insurance. So he had a few methods.
all right, and then over here, is that when y'all had to pay the money back?
Yes. So for each one of these, the money that was stolen, all the partners got together and had to put the money back into client trust. And we went through and corrected and met with every client and distributed money back to them. That's an ongoing basis still going on.
So for all these clients, you had to pay, the law firm had to pay money back.
The partners came up with money and paid all the clients back
And why did y'all have to pay all that money back?
because Alec had stolen it.
We're going to talk about these in a minute, but if we look at the bottom, at least for this category, what was the total that you have, at least for this category?
$2,841,512.55.
And at least in this category, the earliest date we have is roughly what year?
2015.
All right, let's go back to early September. Do you remember what day it was that all this was happening?
September 2nd.
All right, and that brings you this check. You're finding these things. You say you talked to some of the partners about this?
Correct.
And what happens after that? What do y'all do?
We had a partner meeting at Lee Cope's house the morning of Friday, September 3rd.
Is the defendant there?
No,
Is Randy Murdaugh there?
Randy is not there initially. Initially, we showed all the remaining partners what we had found and that he had been stealing. The consensus was, let's get Randy in here and let's show him. So he wasn't blindsided. Randy came in, we presented him the evidence, and he immediately hung his head and said, he stole it. We've got to do something about this.
All right. And did anybody then go make contact with the defendant?
So Danny Henderson and Randy Murdaugh went to confront Alec about it.
And what was reported to you after that
The
conversation?
report was that Alec had admitted that he stole the money and that we were forcing him to resign.
In the wake of all of that, you ultimately had to start doing this review. Is that correct?
Yes,
And the spreadsheet that we're about to go through reflects those various transactions. Is that correct?
that's right.
And gentlemen, I think right now, if you go to the jury room, please do not discuss the case. Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Seconder, before the break, just to reset the table, you had gone in, did you go into Alex's office on June 7th, 2021 for proof that he had not taken the Chris Wilson fees?
Yes,
And then that conversation got delayed, correct?
yes, got disrupted and delayed.
The murders happened.
Correct.
Did you receive an email in July leading you to believe that the Chris Wilson fees were in the account all along?
We did.
And then we moved to September when Annette Griswold, Alex paralegal, did she bring you a check showing that in fact those checks had been written to Alec back in March of 2021?
That's correct.
And at the same time, you were going through the system and looking at payments to Forge, correct?
Correct.
And the real Forge is headed by who? Who's the main guy there?
Michael Gunn,
All right. And then ultimately, though, you determined these were going to what you called what?
fake forge.
Fake Forge, which was accounts set up to look like Forge, but in the name of who?
Richard Alexander Murdaugh.
The defendant?
Yes,
And then once you uncovered that, that started to pull the thread into a series of things you're about to testify going back the preceding years. Is that correct?
that's correct.
So that's kind of where we left off?
That's right.
All right. We're gonna go back and look at states 314, and we're just gonna do these in order and move expeditiously as we can. All right, we'll show you what's been marked as states 317. So you're to this trial and see if you recognize that.
I do. This is the disbursement statement for Adriana Hay.
All right, Your Honor, this time the state would offer states 317 into evidence.
No additional objection, Your Honor.
All right, and tell the jury what this is very quickly.
So in this one, there's a recovery of $247,500. There's attorney fees of $22,000, expenses of $426.54, and then the settlement proceeds to Forge Consulting for the client's amount of $225,073.46.
Right, and that's the disbursement sheet that was signed by who? Do you recognize the signature on there?
Alex.
All right, and let me put it up on the screen. Was this record, was this found in the files of the law firm?
Yes,
And whose signature is that right there?
Alex,
What's the date on this?
12/20/2018.
And what's the first name of the client here, please?
Adriana.
All right. And we look at this this particular disbursement. It's got the recovery amount. That's how much money came in. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then we have an attorney's fee.
Yes, and that looks like that's a reduced fee.
All right. It's a reduced fee in as much as not. Why did you say it's a reduced fee?
It's not a third or either 40% of the $247,500.
All right. And then we've got expenses. Is that correct?
Yes,
And then finally, we have this line right here. What does that say again?
settlement proceeds to Forge Consulting, $225,000, $73.46.
Did that go to the real Forge
It
consultant?
went to the fake Forge Consulting.
And who controls the fake Forge account?
Alex Murdaugh.
Writing on the exhibits after they're in evidence.
All right. In evidence? This particular exhibit.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right. And looking at the second page of this exhibit, what is this?
This is the check made payable to Forge for the $225,073.46.
And that went to the fake Forge?
Yes,
All right. Did the law firm ultimately have to pay that money back?
we did
And why did you have to pay it back?
because Alex stole it.
Again, looking at these disbursement sheets, these are prepared by the attorneys and their staff. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then they're delivered to the finance staff?
Correct.
And then the finance staff uses that to do what?
To cut the checks and give them back to the attorney to disperse to the clients.
So this first sheet was delivered to your staff. Is that correct?
Correct.
Let me just pause here too. And as you can see, what I'm doing, I'm just doing abstract lines and dots. So earlier in the earlier live, we did all the splotches and all the different fun colors. And as you can see, it didn't come on perfect, but as you put all these little fun little freestyle marks and dots and things there, it hides all those harsh edges. So, and that's what I'm going to do on this. On these two, I'm just going to do some lines and some dots to incorporate all the colors that we've done on this. And then let this dry. It has to dry completely. And we'll coat with the, again, the clear gloss finger paints gel polish. it's a wipeable top coat, but it is awesome. Self-leveling, so you'll get a nice smooth finish, but you've got to let this stuff dry all the way. So.
And then they did what?
They wrote the checks as per the disbursement.
And why did they do what Alex Murdaugh requested them to do?
They trusted him, and he was their boss, and that's what they thought they should do.
All right, going to the next one. Stakes 318. All right, I'll show you what's in market stakes 318. See if you recognize this document.
Yes, this is disbursement statement for Barrett Boulware.
All right, Your Honor, at this time I would offer stakes 318 into evidence.
No additional objection, Your Honor.
Submitted.
All right, we'll put it up on the screen. If you have problems seeing, just let me know and I'll bring it
Okay.
back to you, okay? All right, again, this is the disbursement statement for this particular case.
That's correct.
And who's the first name of the client, please?
Barrett,
All right. And looking here on this particular one, we have again a recovery and then we have some expenses and then ultimately we have this right here. Is that correct?
that's correct.
And who was that disbursement? What did it say on the disbursement sheet?
Forge, but that's the fake Forge.
All right. And do you see a signature on there?
I do, it's Alex Murdaugh's.
All right. And going to the next page, you recognize that?
This is the check payable for $279,850 and I believe 85 cents or 65 cents.
All right. And do you recognize that signature right there?
That's Alex Murdaugh's.
And do you recognize this writing right there?
That is his handwriting.
All right. And did this money go into real Forge or did it go to the fake Forge?
It went in his fake Forge account.
All right. And did ultimately the law firm have to refund this money?
Again, we refunded the money. Each partner put up money, and refunded the money to the client
And why did the law firm have to refund it?
because he stole it.
Who stole it?
Alex Murdaugh stole it.
All right. And we go to the third page of this exhibit. Do you recognize this particular check right here?
I do.
All right. What is that?
So this is an insurance proceed payment from, I believe, Southern Fidelity Insurance in the amount of $75,193. That check never even came through our books. He stole it, endorsed it, and put it in his Bank of America account. And we found a copy of it on his desk later as we were investigating.
All right. Did the law firm ultimately have to replace that money?
We replaced that money as well.
Go by for me real quick. Let me show you what's been, I believe, admitted in evidence of states 429.
Okay, this is disbursement sheet for Hirschberger.
All right, and on that particular one, let me, first of all, I'm gonna put it up on the screen, and again, you can see it if you have, if I need to bring it back to me, to you, let me know, okay?
Okay,
All right, I'm gonna go over to the third page of this exhibit. And this is a disbursement sheet in this matter, is that correct?
that's correct.
All right, and we look on this third line, and what does it say right there?
The PMPED attorney fee Forge,
All right, and what's the amount?
$83,333.33. And that's the one we discussed earlier.
That's the one that first came to your attention?
Yes,
All right. Ultimately, go over to this next check. Do you recognize that?
it's the corresponding check with payment to Forge for $83,333.33.
Do you recognize that signature?
Alex Murdaugh's.
All right, and you recognize that writing right there on the endorsement?
Alex Murdaugh's,
All right, and this is a check that you thought had gone to a legitimate structure?
correct.
Where did it actually go?
It went to his fake Forge account, the one in his personal name.
I'm going to show you the second page of this exhibit. Do you recognize this check?
I do.
All right, and tell me what this check is.
This is another check payable to Forge for $91,867.50 for the settlement proceeds due to the estate of Jacob Hirschberger.
All right, and just going back real quick, the first amount of 83,000 and change, those were actually represented what?
Those were our fees that would be payable to the law firm.
Okay, and then this money right here, though, that represented what?
Client money,
All right,
client
how-
settlement money.
And did it go, where did it go?
It went to the fake Forge account in Alex's name.
All right, and did the law firm ultimately have to repay that
We
money?
repaid that as well.
So we got two transactions in this particular one. We got the 83.3, and then we have the 91,000. Is that
Yes,
correct?
and I had to correct myself on that one. We're still in the process of paying that one.
All right. And what's the date on that particular one?
December 15th, 2020,
And then the date on,
May 12th, 2021.
all right, and that's roughly around the time that that came to your attention as you previously testified?
Yes.
Show you what's been marked as States 319. Have you take a look at it?
This is the disbursement sheet for Blondale Gary.
All right. I'm going to go put it on the screen again. If you need me to bring it to you, let me know. And at this time, Your Honor, I'd offer a 319 in evidence.
No additional objection.
Admit it.
All right, looking at this, we have, what's the first name of the client here?
Angel,
All right. And looking down, we have a recovery amount. And then what's this third line right there?
forged structure in the amount of $112,500.
All right. And going to the next page, what do we see?
This is the check payable to Forge in the amount of $112,500.
All right. And did that go to the real Forge or the fake Forge?
It went to the fake Forge in Alex Murdaugh's name.
All right. And whose signature is that?
Alex Murdaugh's.
Going back to the original page, whose signature is that?
Again, Alex Murdaugh's.
What's the date on that? I don't know if you can see it or not.
It looks like 4/9/19.
Okay. Did y'all have to repay that money?
We also repaid that money
All right. Why did you have to repay that money?
because it was due to the client and Alex Murdaugh stole it.
Let me show you what's been marked as States 320. See if you recognize this document.
This is the disbursement sheet on Christopher Anderson.
All right. Your Honor, this time I'd offer States 320 into evidence.
No additional objection, Your Honor.
Admit it.
All right. Again, we have the disbursement sheet. Is that correct?
We do.
All right. And then we have a recovery. Is that correct?
Yes, of $750,000.
And then how much on this disbursement sheet was written to Forge?
$750,000.
Every bit of it.
Yes,
And whose signature is that?
Alex Murdaugh's.
Second page.
A check payable to Forge for $750,000.
What's the date on it?
February 20th, 2020.
Did this go to the real Forge or the fake Forge?
It went to his fake Forge personal account.
In this particular case, were there multiple recoveries?
There were multiple recoveries in this one.
All right. So did some of the money actually go to the client back when all of this happened?
Some of the money did go to the client. And when meeting with the client to go over this, he told me that he was unaware of the second settlement.
And how much of the second settlement did Alex Murdaugh take?
The 100% of it, the entire $750,000.
What's the date on that?
February 20, 2020.
Do you recognize that signature right there?
That's Alex.
Well, welcome. Welcome, Truth. I'm glad you're
I'm
here.
going to show you what's been marked as States 321. See if you recognize this document.
This is a disbursement statement, to Dion Martin.
All right. Your Honor, this time the state would offer States 321 in evidence.
No additional objection, Your Honor.
Admit it.
All right. Looking at this particular one, what's the first name of the client here?
Dion,
All right. And a couple things. First thing I want to ask about is we have right here, what's that third line right there? What does that say?
says structured for annuity directly to Michael Gunn in the
Remind
amount
the jury who Michael Gunn is.
he is the owner of the Real Forge Consulting that would do structured annuities.
Was for that, was there any actual structured annuity directly to Michael Gunn?
We were able to verify later that there was no structured annuity to Michael Gunn.
And what was the effect of having that line in this disbursement sheet when it was prepared by the defendant and his staff?
You can see a line where the payment, it says settlement proceeds structured annuity 500 out. So basically what he did here was create a fake fee or a fake recovery that he took a 40% fee on, $200,000. That $200,000 should have been the client's money, but he faked a fee. It's just phantom money.
So by putting this line in here, right here, with that fake annuity, then 40% of that would be,
It was counted in as fees under his column and on our system.
all right. And so just by that paperwork, poof, you have
Poof, phantom money.
phantom money. Did y'all ultimately have to account for that
We did.
with the client?
We did.
All right, down here at the bottom, you recognize that signature?
Alex Murdaugh's,
You see the date?
8/20/2015.
All right, and then moving on to the next page. And you previously testified that there could be multiple disbursements in a case. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And is this one such case?
Yes.
And I'm going to click my camera off for a few minutes, take a little break. These have to dry, and then I will clear coat them, and you can see the finished product. And I might add some glitter here and there after this is dry too. So just FYI, but that'll be gel, so it'll cure quickly.
All right. Right here, I'm looking at the second disbursement, and down at the bottom, can you tell me the date on this?
October 6, 2015.
All right, and down at the bottom, right here, what does that say?
Disbursement to Forge, $338,056.14.
Did that go to the real Forge or the fake Forge?
Went to the fake Forge.
Looking at the next page, you recognize that?
That's the check payable to the fake Forge in the amount of $338,056.14, signed by Alex Murdaugh.
Did y'all ultimately have to pay that back to the client?
We did, we paid that and the $200,000 back
And why'd you have to do that?
because Alex had stolen it.
Going to the next page, we have another disbursement in this case. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And what does this line say right there?
Structure to Forge, marked through $45,000.
Where did that $45,000 go?
It went to the fake Forge account in Alex Murdaugh's name.
All right. Going forward, we see this check. You recognize that?
That's the check payable to Forge in the amount of $45,000.
All right. You recognize that signature?
With Alex Murdaugh's,
Recognize that writing right there?
Alex Murdaugh's,
And where did that money go?
to the fake Forge account in his Bank of America, Richard Alexander Murdaugh name.
So we had three things here. We had the phantom fee, correct?
Correct,
We had the 338,000 and change.
correct,
We had the 45,000.
correct.
And did your law firm have to pay all that back?
We paid every cent of it back. The
Why'd you-
attorneys put it in because Alex stole it.
Show you states 315. See if you recognize this.
This is another disbursement for Elise Mallory.
Your Honor, at this time I'd offer states 315 in evidence.
No additional objection, Your Honor.
Submitted.
All right, who's the client's name on this one? Just the first name, please.
Elise,
All right, in this particular, what's the total recovery amount?
$183,528.
And is there an attorney fee?
There is an attorney fee of $30,000, but again, that's reduced, and I'm able to tell that because it's not a third or either 40%.
But that $30,000 ultimately was cut to the firm.
That ultimately was cut to the PMPD,
And who was it credited to, on whose books?
Alex Murdaugh's.
All right, and then what's there's some fees for about 600 and change, correct?
Yes, expenses.
Excuse me, expenses. And so what's the remainder?
The remainder is $152,866 that was payable to the Forge, and that's the fake Forge count.
All right, and his signature is that right there?
Alex Murdaugh's.
You recognize the second page?
That is the check that was payable to Forge.
You see the date on that?
I can't really see that.
I'm gonna hand you back states 314, which is the spreadsheet you prepared, is that correct?
Yes.
Looking down at the bottom, can you remind the jury what the date is of that particular check?
It was November 30th, 2020.
November 30th, 2020. Okay. Did any of the recovery in this case actually go to the client?
And that one, none of it went to the client.
It either went to Alex fees or it went to where?
To his fake Forge account that was doing business as Forge, the fake account with Bank of America.
Was there any conversation with Alec about this case as it related to those fees?
There was, later in the summer of 2021, his secretary called over to accounting and said that he wanted to disperse some money to Elise Mallory. And at that point, we informed her that the money had already been dispersed. So then Alex said that he wanted to give a portion of his fee back to the client because she was just a sweet lady that he felt she needed some funds given back to her.
Is it? Mine's. Let me let it set for a second because mine's on time. You might have to go out and then come back in. Sometimes I have to do that. Let me see. Let it buffer a second works.
We'd like to do her a favor.
About the $30,000 in fees?
Yes.
Was that
Let me know if
after
it's better.
all of that $152,000, the bulk of that recovery for that case has been instead dispersed to the fake Forge account?
Yes.
Did y'all have to account for that and pay the client back?
We did
And why was that?
because he stole the money.
Going to 322. So you want to mark the states 322? See if you recognize this.
Yes, it's another disbursement that has actually several parts, but it's Jamie and Risher.
Okay. Your Honor, this time I'd offer states 322 in evidence.
No additional objection.
Submit it.
All right, what's the first name on the, all
Jamie and
right. And looking at this particular disbursement sheet, what is this amount right there?
$90,000.
And what's it made payable to on the disbursement sheet?
Forge.
We see a signature right there. It looks a little different. Do you recognize that signature at
I
all?
still believe it's Alex.
And going to the next page, what is that?
This is the check payable to Forge in the amount of $90,000.
And what's the date on it?
It cleared on 9/1/16. It was written sometime in August of 2016.
Where did that check go?
It went to the fake Forge account with Bank of America that is in his personal name.
Going to this page of the exhibit, do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
And tell me what this is very quickly.
These were some of those client case expenses that we would collect normally. And what you're seeing here is some costs for employee travel on the first line, but then costs paid to Austin Aviation for some airline services, and then some meals and travel within New York.
We have Austin Aviation. Is that like a private plane
That is a private plane.
and limousine service?
That's a private limousine. Yeah.
All right. Did y'all ultimately refund this money to the client?
We did.
Why was that?
We discovered that those were after the close of the case, and there was no way that they could have been done.
They had been billed to the client?
They had been billed to the client, deducted from the client's disbursement, so we reimbursed those as well when we were giving our clients the money back.
Sure, you want to mark the states 323 to your testimony, see if you recognize that.
This is a disbursement for Johnny Bush.
Okay. Your Honor, this time I'd offer states 323 in evidence.
No additional objection.
Submit it.
All right, very quickly.
Johnny
Johnny, all right. Down here, we've got, what does that line say?
Forge, $95,000
Where did that money go?
to the fake Forge account that Alec held.
All right. Is that the check?
It's a corresponding check for the $90,000 with
Okay.
Alec's signature.
All right. And did y'all have to pay that money back?
We did,
And why did you have to pay that money back?
because Alex stole it as well.
Show you estates 324, see if you recognize that.
Yes, this is a disbursement to Jordan Jenks.
Your Honor, this time I'll offer estates 324 and Evans.
No additional objection, Your Honor.
Admit it.
All right. Right here, looking at this particular one, who's the first name of the client?
Jordan.
I'm just going to show you real quick while she was saying all that. I did just use, you can see, I put some little glitter lines here and there, and I used this regular, it's by finger paints. It's not UV cured though, but so it'll just it dries super, super fast though. So I trust giving this a few minutes while the rest of the paint dries before I put the top coat on, and it should be good. But if you're worried, always, take the path of safety and wait 12 to 24 hours, but I don't have that kind of patience. So
Right here on this disbursement, what do we have right there?
A payment to Forge in the amount of $85,000.
Okay. And whose signature down at the bottom?
Alex Murdaugh's,
What's the date?
August 1st, 2018.
Looking at the second page, what is this right here?
The check to payable to Forge for the $80,000
All right, and where did that money go?
to the fake Forge account.
You recognize that signature?
That's Alex's signature as well.
All right, looking over the next page, what is this?
This is a second disbursement with another check payable to Forge in the amount of $65,000.
All right, you recognize that signature?
Alex Murdaugh's,
All right, and what's the next page?
a check payable to Ford in the amount of $65,000 with Alex Murdaugh's signature.
All right, and what date did that clear?
October 4th, 2018.
All right. This $85,000, where did that go?
To the fake Forge,
The $65,000, where did that go?
to the fake Forge account.
Did your law firm have to account for that money?
We accounted for it and reimbursed the client due to the fact that Alec had stolen it.
I'll show you what's been marked as states 325, your testimony, see if you recognize this.
This is another disbursement for Manuel Cristiani.
Your Honor, this time I'd offer states 325.
No additional objection, Your Honor.
Admit it.
All right, first name,
Manuel,
what does this say right here?
Forge, $70,000.
Going over to the next page, you recognize that?
That's the check payable to Forge for $70,000 signed by Alex Murdaugh.
What's the date did it clear your trust
August
account?
16th, 2016.
Where did this money go?
Went to his fake Forge account.
Did you have to account for this money?
We did.
All right, and why'd you have to account for it?
This money was stolen. This money still has not been paid back. It's under a court order to be paid into the court because there's some dispute about who it belongs to.
But ultimately,
But ultimately, we funded it and it's paid into the court, so it came out of our pockets again.
I'll show you what's been marked as states 326 to your testimony, see if you recognize this.
This is another disbursement for Mary Duncan.
Your Honor, this time I'd offer states 326.
No additional objection.
Admit it.
All right, first name of the client,
Mary,
looking down here, what is that line right there?
settlement proceeds to Forge in the amount of $19,500.
All right, see the date?
October 3rd, 2018.
You recognize that at all?
Alex Murdaugh's.
That's the signature you mean?
Yes.
All right, what's this right here on the second page?
This is the check payable to Forge for $19,500, referencing Mary Duncan settlement proceeds.
And what date did that clear?
October 22nd, 2018.
And how much?
$19,500
All right, where did this money go?
to its fake Forge account.
Did your law firm have to account for that?
We did, and we reimbursed the client for that
Why'd you have to do that?
because Alex stole it.
Show you what's been marked as stage 327. See if you recognize this.
This is a disbursement sheet for Randy Drawby.
All right, this time I'll offer stage 327 in evidence.
No additional objection.
It's admitted.
All right, disbursement sheet, what line do we have right here?
Forge, $9,569.30.
You recognize that signature?
Alex Murdaugh's.
Looking at the next page,
It's the check payable to Forge for the $9,569.30.
and what's the date on it?
It is dated October 3rd, 2017.
You recognize that signature?
Alex Murdaugh's signature.
Did your law firm ultimately have to account for those funds?
We did, and we reimbursed the client that money as well because it was stolen funds again.
And where did these funds actually go to?
They went to the bank Forge account that was under his control.
All right, I'm going to show you what's been marked as stage 328 and see if you recognize this.
This is a disbursement for Thomas Moore.
Your Honor, this time I'd offer stage 328 in evidence.
No additional objection, Your Honor.
It's admitted.
All right, right here on the disbursement, what's the name? First name?
Thomas,
And what does the disbursement say?
Forge, $125,000.
Right, down here, do you recognize that signature?
It's Alex Murdaugh's on the left.
Whose handwriting does that look like to you?
It looks like Alex Murdaugh's as well. Tommy Moore confirmed with us that he did not sign that disbursement.
Going to the second page, what is this?
This is the check payable to Forge in the amount of $125,000.
Does that go to the real Forge or the fake Forge?
Fake Forge,
All right, and whose writing is that right there on the endorsement?
that's Alex Murdaugh's.
Whose signature on the check?
Alex Murdaugh's.
Did y'all have to account for that money with the client?
We did, we reimbursed him as well
Why'd you have to account for that?
because it had been stolen by Alex.
The ones that you've been describing, this was after you started to pull the thread and all of that started to unravel, is that correct?
That's right.
Was the quote fake forge, as you call it, was that the only thing that you detected as you started to review the activities of Alex Murdaugh while he was a partner in the law firm?
No,
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 329 to your testimony, and just quickly tell me if you recognize that and what it is.
I do recognize this. This is a list of payments that were stolen by being paid to Palmetto State Bank.
Okay, I just want to say real quick, I am putting this top coat on again. This is the Finger Paints gloss top coat. And as I've said many times before, give it a little hang 10 for like 10 seconds just to let it level out. That's what helps give you that nice, smooth, rounded look. It kind of helps get rid of any dimples or imperfections in the top coat that's self-leveling. So
Hold on for me real quick.
And because I always forget, if you're just tuning in or if you're new, please hit the thumbs up for me and hit the subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps me grow my channel, helps me get out in that algorithm and gets more people to see me. So thank you very much.
All right, going back to States 329. Again, did you prepare the spreadsheet?
I did.
Is this based on your role as the CFO and going back and reviewing various records and trying to figure all of this out?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, this time the state would offer States 329 into evidence.
No additional objections, Your Honor, and subject to the court's prior limitations on its use.
It's admitted.
All right, putting this up on the screen. Can you see that all right, or I need to bring it to
Yes,
you?
I can see it.
All right. I see up at the top, there's some writing on it. Can you tell the jury what that is real quick?
That was a mistake when I made up the worksheet that we discovered when I got here. Those checks were written in the period of 2012 instead of the 7/5 that I had down. So we scratched through 9 initials, my correction.
So that says 2012 in your initials, is that right?
Yes.
And then over here, what is this right here?
That's the client's name that the money was stolen from,
All right, and then what's that?
the civil action court number,
All right, and then the category,
the method that he used to get away with this, and then this payment was Palmetto State Bank checks.
And then this line right there.
The date that we put money back into our trust account to be able to refund the clients.
And then finally, the amount.
$2,079,826.54.
Does this include what was in, we've already gone through in states 314, the other spreadsheet, or is this different money?
It's additional money.
States 314. What was the amount, the total amount?
$2,841,512.55.
And then the new one we're about to talk about?
$2,079,826.54.
Now, you mentioned Palmetto State Bank. This is not the fake forge, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, tell me just generally what you uncovered and how funds were allegedly misappropriated through this method by the defendant.
Palmetto State Bank was the PR on some of these funds, and there was lines on these disbursements to be paid to Palmetto State Bank. On the surface, they looked okay. When I called and asked the bank to give me information backing up the checks, what had happened to them once they were written to the bank, we discovered that the money had been used for paying things on Alex's behalf, like loan payments, equipment purchases, paying back loans to people he had borrowed money from, and everything was for his use.
And in looking at that, was there an official at the bank who was assisting Alex Murdaugh with these transactions?
Russell Lafitte was the one helping convert those funds.
And is Russell Lafitte any relation to you?
Russell Lafitte is my brother-in-law. He's married to my sister's husband.
Sure, it wasn't marked stage 330, home stretch. Stage 330 to this trial, see if you recognize that document.
This is the Badger disbursement.
All right. Your Honor, this time I'd offer stage 330 in evidence.
No additional objection, Your Honor.
All right, how much were the attorney's fees on this particular case?
$1,240,000.
That's how much the attorney's fees were,
That's the attorney fees.
right? And then if we scroll down this disbursement, we have, what's this number right here?
$1,325,000.
And that pursuant to this disbursement was supposed to be made out to who?
Palmetto State Bank.
All right, and that's completely separate from these attorney's fees in this case, is that
That's
correct?
correct. It's addition.
Did those attorney's fees actually get paid into the firm account?
Those did, yes.
And those were legitimate,
Those
correct?
were legitimate.
And they were credited to who?
Alex Murdaugh.
And that's completely separate from this additional $1,325,000 below that, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, and what happened to that $1,325,000?
That $1,325,000 ended up being converted into payments on his behalf through the bank.
All right, can you tell me the date on that?
November 19th, 2012.
Now, this particular amount right here, well, let me go. I'm going to show you page 3 of this exhibit. And is this an email that you found in the records of your law firm?
We did.
All right, and who is this email from and who's it to?
The email is from Russell Lafitte to Alex Murdaugh.
All right, and what does it say right there?
It says, Alex, can you get Jeannie to recut check 43162 dated 11/19/12 as follows? And then it lists 4 different amounts. And it says, thanks, Russell.
All right, and then below that, the next page, is this another email that was found in the records of your law firm?
It is
And what's the date on this email?
February 6, 2013.
All right, and please, who's the email from?
So this email is from Alex Murdaugh to Russell Lafitte.
All right, and tell the jury what it says.
It gives an amount of $388,687.57, whatever the amount I owe on the Hannah loan, $75K, and whatever the balance would be on the $1,325,000 after these deductions.
And again, remind the jury what the amount that was written to PSB.
$1,325,000.
Is that,
In that email, the last line, Alex asked Russell to email me and request that.
right? Did that actually happen?
Yes,
And so had your staff already cut this check based on the disbursement for $1,325,000?
yes,
And based on this email chain, did you ultimately recut checks made out to Palmetto State Bank
yes, sir.
and the amounts requested?
And the amounts requested.
And those funds, what happened to them?
They were used to pay personal loan payments on Alex's behalf. So again, the funds that he stole and paid obligations that he owed.
Did you have to account to the client for this amount right here?
We did.
And you had to do that because they were misappropriated by the defendant?
That's right.
All right, looking through these checks, are these the checks that were recut by your staff after the request by Alec
Yes,
to Russell and from Russell to you?
correct. And incidentally, in this one, we also reimbursed the client the PR fee because the PR had not done their job. So we made sure that we would reimburse the client for that as well.
Who was the PR?
Russell Lafitte.
And I'm just slowly moving through this exhibit, but these are various checks and how they ultimately were converted.
That's the information that I got back from Palmetto State Bank showing how they were converted.
I'm looking at this check right here, which is the 5th page of the exhibit. Can you see the date on that?
February 8th, 2013.
Going to this check right here, what's the date on that?
September 13th, 2013.
States 331, see if you recognize this.
This is the correcting disbursement for Arthur Badger that we reconstructed.
And that goes with the prior exhibit, is that correct?
Yes.
This time it offers States 331.
No additional objection.
It's admitted.
And this just again reflects what you were just talking about in the repayments of those monies, is that correct?
That's correct, where previously it had the 35,000. And so our total repayment to the client was 1,360,000, which is the 35 and the 1.325
And the 35 is the,
PR fee. Yes.
I'll show you States 332. And 334. We'll show you 334 first and see if you recognize this document.
This is a disbursement to Natasha Thomas.
All right, Your Honor, this time it offers States 334 in evidence.
No additional objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. And while I'm here, States 332.
This is the correcting disbursement that we drafted to return the money to Natasha Thomas.
Your Honor, it offers States 332 in evidence.
No additional objection.
Admitted.
All right. Looking at this particular disbursement, again, what's the first name of the client?
Natasha,
All right. And we have various recovery amounts here, is that correct?
that's correct.
We have the actual legal fees received in this case, correct?
Yes.
And who were those actually credited to?
Well, 800 of that is to Alex Murdaugh, and then the other portion of the fee was the $15,000 fee payable to Russell Lafitte as conservator for this case.
Okay. And those fees were actually credited to who?
To Alex Murdaugh.
And on top of that, though, go down to the bottom and we have this last line. What's that right there?
Natasha Thomas, Palmetto State Bank, $325,000.
That $325,000, where did it go?
It went to Palmetto State Bank and was converted into funds for personal use again, paying loans, buying equipment, et cetera,
Personal expense for who?
for Alex Murdaugh.
Did y'all ultimately have to account to the client for that money?
We did.
And why did you have to do that?
Alex stole that money.
You recognize that signature right there?
Yes, that's Russell Lafitte's.
What is that check right there? Do you recognize that?
This is the check that we wrote to Palmetto State Bank,
And what's the date on that?
12/20/2011.
And hold on real quick. I'm going to go back just to make sure on stage 330. And this was Arthur. That's the case you just talked about a little bit ago.
That's correct.
The one with the 1.325 million.
That's correct.
And on this disbursement sheet, what was the date?
November 19th, 2012.
All right. Back to Natasha. Oops. Now, you mentioned it was often common for monies to be held back for liens. Is that right?
That's right.
And ultimately, the idea is to settle those liens, like with a hospital or something like that, or Medicaid, and then ultimately pay the client any excess that you were able to settle underneath. Is that
That's
correct?
right.
In this case, were certain monies held back for liens?
There was money held back, yes.
Okay. And ultimately, was there an amount that was paid on those liens? And in particular, I'm showing you this line right here that says ACA recoveries.
Yes, there was.
All right. Go back for me real quick. After we're looking at that particular line, how much was that amount?
$110,965.27.
And was ultimately Medicaid paid back some amount of money?
Yes,
Was it less than their actual bill?
yes,
And so that meant that there was some money left over that should have gone to the client. Is that correct?
correct.
Did that money actually go to the client?
No, it did not.
All right, I'm going to flip towards the end of this exhibit. And show you this check. It's actually the last page of the exhibit. Do you recognize that?
Yes, that's the remaining funds that should have been paid to Natasha after settling that lien. And it was in the amount of $25,245.08.
And can you see the date on that or see when it cleared?
Looks like it was dated maybe 6/13/2012 or either 8, pardon my eyes. And it cleared the bank on 8/29/2012.
All right, you recognize the signature on that check?
Alex Murdaugh's.
All right, and where did those funds go?
Those were converted at Palmetto State Bank into things that benefited him personally, such as loan payoffs, money to them.
Okay. Did you ultimately have to account to the client for that money?
We did,
And why'd you have to do that?
because Alex Murdaugh stole it.
And looking through these documents that are attached here, what are these documents as I slowly flip through them?
That's where the money went. So there was payments made to Mr. Charlie Lafitte. There were boat payments paid. There was payments back to a loan from a conservatorship.
Is that a different case that the firm had?
That is
And who was a conservator on that case?
Russell Lafitte,
And what's the name of that particular client?
Plyler.
And there were loans made from that?
Yes,
Loans to who?
there were loans made from that to Russell Lafitte and Alex Murdaugh.
So money from this was used to pay back some of that money?
Yes, sir.
Whose signature is that on this particular check, number 219721?
That's Russell Lafitte's.
And who is that cashier's check made out to?
Randolph Murdaugh III.
Who is that cashier's check made out to?
This is made out to R. Lafitte as conservator for Malik Williams.
Who's Malik Williams? Do you
Malik
know?
Williams was another client that Russell was a conservator for, that Russell loaned money to Alec out of that conservatorship, and this is a payment back on that conservatorship loan.
When you say conservatorship, Russell was put in charge of dealing with clients'
Investing in
money on
him.
their behalf?
Yes.
And he was loaning money to himself and to Alec?
He did out of Plyler. I'm not sure about Malik Williams, but he loaned Alec money out of Malik Williams.
And then money from some of these misappropriations you've identified was used to pay those loans back from the conservatorship?
Correct.
Oops, I gotta unmute myself. So I'm gonna pause real quick just to show you. Now, first of all, I don't cap the ends when I do my regular nails, or if I do my press-ons, because I always like to, after I paint them, go through with a file and give them really nice crispy edges, no matter what my design I'm doing. And then I file along the edges too, to make sure there's no little nips, anything like that, and just really shape them out. But this is the finished product, and I'll put a picture that shows a little bit more of the blinginess and the fun of these in my comments section, in my community tab, in just a few. But as you can see, and I'm trying to, I think that's as bright as my light will go, but you know, it's just really fun. It really does kind of, it reminds me of like Lisa Frank stuff, of the kind of embodies the 80s and the 90s, of all the fluorescent colors and the kind of funny, freaky designs, and nothing was absolutely perfect. So we've got that. And so this would be the other side of that. So all the colors match. And then, like I said, I always do 14-piece sets when I make them for just the freestyle stuff for the website, because I like to give everybody options, but then a little bit different designs, but they still match. So that is that, and those are covered in gloss. And you know, you could too play around with both matte and glossy top coat and doing different things with that, having, you know, like one shape glossy, one shape matte. That's a really fun thing to do. It gives a lot of texture and a lot of depth to your design. So, and this is something that would be really cute on some short nails too, because in the 80s, long nails weren't in. And we were just kind of getting press-on nails, I think, in the 80s. And they were these really flimsy, horrible things that flicked off. The glue was horrible. The little sticky tabs were horrible. You couldn't keep them on to save your life. And you left a trail of nails behind you everywhere you went. But now things have changed so much. And you can get the same quality nail in a press-on that you can get if you find the right, you know, type. You can get in the salon and not have to pay those salon prices. I mean, I'm not taking away from the people that work in those salons, the nail techs and the nail designers. Like, they're phenomenal, and they work really hard, and they go to school, and so the prices that they are charging are absolutely right on, because they continue their education. The supplies aren't cheap, the booth rent isn't cheap, all of it, the time, the wear on your body. But if you can't afford to do that, but you still want to treat yourself, and you still like to have, you know, fun things, nails, then you go to someone like me. And like I said earlier, my website is scrolling at the bottom. It's clawsbycutsy.com. And through, I'm going to do it through June. I have got a discount code for 20% off your entire order. It's welcome. It's claws with a Z, welcome, all capital letters. And you put that in at checkout. It'll be 20% off your entire order, even sales stuff. And I've still got free shipping on there because I can't figure out how to put the shipping on. So my technical failure is your gift. So, so I'm gonna let this play for just a few more minutes while I kind of clean up and get stuff back together. And basically, if you've been with us, what we're hearing is that it's just over and over and over. He has lied and cheated every single person that he ever represented, that he worked with, his family, everyone. There's not one single person he didn't steal from. And the millions and millions of dollars that he took so that he could have this life, the boat that ultimately took Mallory, the boat that was in the accident that ultimately took Mallory Beach's life, that was also pressing on him. Then he comes to work that day and is getting questioned about these bank accounts and getting questioned about this financial stuff. And then he gets the call that his father's been rushed to the hospital. And I think that was the moment sitting in his office when he was just like, click. And I don't know. I think that he thought this was the answer to all of his problems. That if something like this happened, that everybody would leave him alone. And they wouldn't look into anything any further. They would just be so, completely floored because of what happened to Maggie and Paul. And so devastated that he, with possibly insurance money, wrongful death, whatever, could have, in his mind, maybe fixed this financial kerfuffle he had put himself in, and at least paid back some of the money. And in later weeks, we'll hear testimony from his friends that he lied to. The one that sent the email about the money being in the account, and then they found out later on that it was not in there. It had never been paid in there. He told him, basically, send this email now. I'm going to get it in there. But you just, you trust me, you know me. And this, if I remember correctly, I think he actually, the friend got pretty upset because this was a good friend of his. And he lied and he stole from him. And I believe he ended up having to pay that part of the money out of his own pocket for his friend.
I'll show you states 333. You recognize this?
This is a disbursement for Russell Lafitte as conservator for Hakeem Pickney.
Your Honor, this time I'd offer state 333 in evidence.
No additional objection, Your Honor.
Submit it.
All right, a little bit ago, we were looking at a case of Natasha Thomas. Is this case related to that one?
Yes, they're both in the same accident.
And I'm going to show you the disbursement sheet on this particular one. And again, we have a recovery here. Is that correct?
Yes,
And right here, we have legal fees. Is that correct?
correct.
And how much were the legal fees for this particular one?
For this one, there was $4,098,000 that would have been credited to Alec that were payable to PMPD. And we also paid Russell Lafitte a $60,000 conservator fee.
So out of this particular one, there were legit fees earned by, of how much again?
Almost $4.1 million, $4,098,000.
And credited to who?
Alex Murdaugh.
On top of that, though, we scroll down and we have this entry right here. What does that say?
Palmetto State Bank, $309,581.46.
All right. Where did that money go?
Again, that went payable to Palmetto State Bank, and it was used with the other money from Natasha Thomas to pay off loans and for conservatorships and loans that he had made personally, so for Alex's personal benefit.
All right. And right there, do you recognize those signatures?
Yes, I do.
Whose signature is that?
Russell Lafitte,
Whose signature is that?
Alex Murdaugh.
Right here, what is this? The third page of the exhibit.
This is the check payable to Palmetto State Bank for $309,581.46 on the behalf of Hakeem Pickney's settlement.
And did you have to account for that with the client?
We did,
And why did you have to do that?
because Alex stole that money as well.
As we go through this exhibit, are these some of the various documents?
Yes.
Tell the court and the jury what these are, please.
That would be a loan payment on a boat loan that Alex held personally with the bank. Again, another loan payment for that same Murdaugh Charter Bank loan. Check payable back to Mr. Charles Lafitte for a personal loan.
And we don't have to go through every one, but that's generally, these are the expenditures you've identified as personal for Alec.
Yes.
Couple more. I know we've been going for a long time. You had mentioned that that one instance in which there was the loan payment that should have gone to Randy Murdaugh that instead went to the defendant, correct?
That's right.
And ultimately that happened twice and then it was detected that he paid it back. Is that right?
That's right.
And the matter kind of went away. Is that right?
That's right.
Were there other instances in which Alex Murdaugh used the firm credit card for expenditures that were not business related.
He did.
And in those instances, what had happened?
In instances that he used it for personal, we would deduct it from his annual bonus at the end of the year. He'd pay it back.
You pay it back and the matter would be forgotten. Is that correct?
Yes.
When those things were happening at the law firm, were you all aware of all of this?
No.
And stand by for me real quick.
And holy cow, 2012, you've been doing this for years, years and years and years.
All right, sorry about that. Just real quick. When y'all allowed Alec to pay back the money in those sort of smaller instances, were you aware of all of this?
No, sir.
When you or your staff received these disbursement funds from Alec and his staff, did they cut them in the manner in which they were instructed?
Yes,
And why did they do that?
because they trusted him.
And in the majority of those instances that involve client money, did Alex Murdaugh also receive substantial legal fees in each one of those cases?
Yes,
And in each one of those cases in which that happened, at least on the ones we've gone through, according to your review, did he also misappropriate substantial money on top of that?
yes.
How long have you known Alex Murdaugh?
Since I was 16, so about 40 years,
Worked with him closely for how long?
22, 23 years.
Did you really know Alex Murdaugh?
I don't think I ever really knew him. I don't think anybody knows.
Thank you. Nothing further.
So stay-
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. Next is cross-examination, so I will keep note of where we are at, and we can finish that up on a shorter night. But basically, he has lied to every single person he's ever known, and she just said it. This is somebody who she'd known him since she was 16 years old. He's a teenager. They worked together for 20 years. They knew each other for over 40 years. And he lied and he stole the entire time. He was spoiled and he learned that he could get away with all of this stuff. And he loved living fast and loose, and he loved the money. And he didn't think about who he hurt. And these were people that were sick and injured. Children that were not necessarily orphans, but two young men that, like Tony Satterwhite said earlier, in our earlier live when we watched his testimony, his brother was a vulnerable adult, and they got quite a bit of money from the insurance company finally, and from I believe, again, the firm had to pay back this money, which came out of those lawyers' pockets, which came out of his family, everything. But he didn't care. He had a boat, he had properties, they talked about flights on private planes. He had people that trusted him, and they would do whatever he said to with this money just because they trusted him, because he had this good name. And he taught his sons to be the same way. And I have not seen Buster in the limelight as being a wild boy or, partying or anything like that. It seems to me that Buster, for the most part, at least publicly, has been a student and working, and maybe that Stephen Smith stuff scared him straight. And maybe this too. He has to now. He doesn't have anybody to take care of himself but himself. But Paul was the same way. Paul was taught that he could do whatever he wanted and that Daddy would always clean it up. And he did. And when we watched the body cam footage in my earlier live. He's crying. He's not crying because Mallory Beach is lost in the water somewhere. He's crying because he's in trouble. He says, I'm effed. I'm so effed. He already had other instances of, I believe they said, of like minor in possession, DUIs, things like that. He used his brother's ID that night, whether his brother knew it or not, I don't know, to go in. He and, was it Colin? And then he got back in the boat. They took the boat so that they could not get in trouble for DUI in a vehicle, in a car. But as you said, he was driving erratically. He was getting crazy. And as we heard I completely missed it the first time I listened to watched the body cam footage years ago. Mallory's boyfriend says in that video, you can hear him talking to the police officer. He says, I thought I lost her a year ago. She was in the car with him, and he crashed it, and I thought she was gone then, but I got her back. And now this. I did not realize that. That was something I either had forgotten or completely missed when I heard, when I watched this all when it was, brand new, fresh. But he was also known as the Little Detective, and it was said that he had also found opioids in his dad's bag. That was part of the reason why Maggie was out at the beach house too. That was her. I don't think that their marriage was as great as everybody thinks it was. I think, when he describes some of the disgusting physical things about addiction, which he does later on, that we didn't need to know about him. But I can't imagine being married to someone and still feeling attracted to them, or you might still love them because they're your person that you fell in love with, but I can't imagine feeling close to that person or safe with that person. And so his father going into the hospital that night or that day was, if I remember correctly, one of the reasons that how he got Maggie to come back from the beach house, because she was getting her nails done. She'd gotten her nails done. That was one of the reasons why they thought when they found her wedding ring in her car, that was probably why it was in theirs, because, when you get your nails done, you usually take your rings off so they can put your lotion on. But so here is his kid that he's brought up that's causing him, in his drug-addled mind even. I mean, it sounds like he was pretty much a piece of junk before he was addicted to all of these things also, but that he's bailed him out a million times. This time, it's not looking like he's going to be able to, because not only are they going after Paul criminally, but they're going to be going after him civilly for wrongful death for Mallory Beach. They're going through his financials. They're going to. He knows they're going to. He's not an idiot. He is a lawyer that does this to other people. And now he goes into work and they start questioning him. And he obviously knew they were going to be looking into his financials, because as Ms. Seckinger testified, he was trying to find ways to put money in Maggie's name so that it couldn't be found when he was sued. And they said no, they would not be a part of that. I mean, this is a law firm that are not going to lose their entire everything to save his behind like that. And I think that this was something that he probably thought of, but never, kind of like an intrusive thought that all of a sudden became his great plan. His great plan. He's obviously not a very good decision maker. I mean, sadly, he's a lawyer, and that's scary. Because later on, too, we're going to go over his plot to take his own life, make it look like, I believe he said it was the Proud Boys that did it, so that his oldest son could have money, could have the insurance money. And he couldn't even get that right. And we're going to go over to Cousin Eddie, because he's another big character in all of this, that there is no in between with Cousin Eddie. People either really, really liked him and believed him, or people thought he was just scum of the earth and thought he was lying and whatever. And there's so much more to this. And so, yeah, we're going to keep going over this in the next 3 to 6 months, however long it takes for this trial and for everything to get decided. They've got to find an unbiased jury, well, as unbiased as they can. I believe they were looking to go to like Charleston, perhaps, for the venue. But there's debate back and forth between defense and prosecution of whether or not the capital punishment can be put on sentencing. And according to Dick Harpootlian, he said, there's no new evidence. No, but I believe there were certain criteria that had to be met in the last trial for them. Like certain things to be allowed in for them to let, or that he needed to admit to, for them to take that off the table. And, those kind of deals are null and void now. So, it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. And, one thing at least about this is we know that he's not going to get out while he awaits this new trial, because he's already been convicted of all the financial crimes, and I believe his sentence is like 40 years for those. But the big thing about this, and this is something that I did not realize, and I heard it on a podcast earlier today, was that the difference between him having the 2 murder convictions and the financial crimes versus just having the financial crimes. Yes, he'll still spend probably the rest of his life in prison, but at a much nicer facility if he's only convicted of financial crimes. If he's convicted of these violent felonies, these capital offenses, then he's going to be in a bad place, most likely. A place that Mr. Murdaugh, however he decides to pronounce it that day, because that's something else that I want to know if any of you guys noticed this. And if you're watching on the replay, please put it in the comments, that he changed, different people pronounced his name different ways. And I felt like his name had been Murdaugh all along, in the press, when you hear him and his lawyers speaking at the beginning, until it came to trial. And then they were very, very much pronouncing either the G or the Murdaugh, calling him Alex Murdaugh or Alex Murdaugh. They didn't want to say Murdaugh. And I thought, is that like a psychological thing? Because they don't want it to sound like murder. They don't want his name associated with murder. Hey, Bear Force, how you doing? You missed all the snazzy painting. No, you probably would have been bored with tonight. It was just financial testimony about the 100,000 people pretty much that this guy lied to and stole from. I lost count of how much, but I was, and I'm going to look into this too, because I didn't, I just saw a headline and I didn't get to read the actual story, but it was on, I can't remember if it was on X or if it was on Facebook, but it said something about Letitia Stoke possibly being able to, was it Nancy Grace even? I don't know. Everybody's blending into each other. But that she possibly has the possibility of getting out before her new trial. That is terrifying to me. That's scary to think that she will be walking around. She's just absolutely the epitome of evil, and yikes. Had dinner and took a nap. I did that tonight too. I had a really, really good salad. I was starving because I hadn't eaten anything. I sat there and I was doing, I got off my live and I was doing housework and stuff, and just running around like a crazy person like I normally do. And all of a sudden I realized I have not eaten anything since 7:30 in the morning. So I finally got us dinner about 6 o'clock. I ate, and then I locked my bedroom door with my little guy in there with me, and I said, let's snuggle. And 5 minutes later, I was out, and I woke up, and he was laying there watching Curious George with me. And about an hour later, and I needed a power nap. So yeah, these both are going to be interesting. Interesting trials to see, like I said, what's allowed in, what's not. Because we don't know as a judge who we're going to get. And we don't know, are they going to be, Judge Newman was awesome. And will they let the same things in? Will they let the financial crimes in this time? Will they let the phone data in? Because according to the defense, the phone data was incorrect. Is that true? Are they going to have the same experts? Are they going to have new experts? I really liked the forensic firearms guy, the guy that did all the graphics on the trajectories and everything like that. That was just wow. I mean, to me, everything pointed to him zipping through on a golf cart or someone. Because another thing, and I'm going to find that, I believe it's on the 911 call. He's talking to the operator, and you hear him say, kind of off to his side, here. Either pointing to something or showing somebody something, here. So was Cousin Eddie out there with them that night? Helping him clean up? The groundskeeper said that the hose wasn't reeled up like he remembers leaving it. Was that Paul out there that just sloppily set it up there, or were they cleaning something up? Because when you go out, when you see the video of the night of and we'll watch that, the body cam footage of Alex Murdaugh at the scene, it looked like everything was kind of wet out there. So maybe, I always wondered, do you hose down some golf cart tracks in the dirt? Oh, see, that's what I do. I stay up too late, and then I get tired early, and then I'll lay down for, a little bit, and then I can't sleep the rest of the night. I do that every time, every day. So that's what I'm hoping with summer. If I can actually get, just a couple nights where I can get, a good 6 hours straight, then hopefully everything, my sleep and everything will reset and I'll be back on track for everything. So yeah, let's see. Oh, it's 20-2 here right now. So let me do one thing real quick. I am going to do a shameless plug for my website and share this. Just once again, if anyone's new, just show. Got our new scrubs in: cinnamon, mint, strawberry, watermelon, coconut, birthday cake, and fruit punch. The new scrubs and soaks are in. All are at an introductory price. Like I said earlier, I'm still offering free shipping, and with the code, put that up there. That is the link to the website. And then this is the code that you put in at checkout. It's safe, secure checkout. I don't get any of your financial information. I just get the name and the address that you give me to ship your products. And the website point of service does all the rest. I offer PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Apple Pay, and I believe the Afterpay is turned on also. So that's also an option if there's anything on there that you want and you don't quite have everything you need for it, but you still want to take advantage of the discount. That's another option, which I like. That's how I get all my shoes, all my tennis shoes. So, oh, and I'm still, like I said earlier, there's still free shipping too, because I can't figure out the shipping. So I can't turn it on yet. So because I am technologically behind, you all get to get free shipping. So, oh, and the Love Spell inspiration scent is back in. I finally found a place where I can get it. It's all made from skin safe essential oils. It smells absolutely right on as Love Spell. I love this stuff. And the good news is that it's something that they're going to carry for a while, and I can get large quantities of it, so I know I can have it, because that seems to be like the most popular scent. But don't ignore the cashmere marshmallow and the sea moss and sage. They really are some really good scents. The cashmere marshmallow is kind of a musky amber scent with a little bit of vanilla in there just to soften it. It's nice, warm scent. Then the sage or the sea moss and sage is a nice, cool water scent. It's unisex. It's really good for anyone. It's just a nice, clean, calming scent. Sage is supposed to help calm your nerves and your stress. So, and I've got that in both the scrubs and the salts, and same with the Love Spell. So, on that note, I am going to try to clean this up a little bit, because if I don't, I'll be mad that I didn't do it before I went to bed. I'll be mad because I'll have to do it in the morning. And there's probably about maybe a half hour left of Jeannie's testimony. So I will try to hop on tomorrow. I'll try to schedule it a little bit in advance so you guys can see, and I will put it in the Discord. Let me do that really quick before I forget. Also, this is Discord link. So that's another place I've got to remember. I'm going to try and remind myself to put in when I'm going live in there so that you guys can get notifications in there too. Just bear with me. I'm not used to Discord. I've never had Discord before. I've used other platforms like that. I used to game, online game. And so we use other platforms like that, but I learned those and I'll learn this one. So just bear with me and yeah, join. It's just public. Everybody's invited just to chat about any stories we're talking about. And I just have the one room right now because that's all we need. But the more people that get in there, the more we can, divide up topics, things like that as we need them. So just let me know. And I will see you guys. Like I said, if I have time tomorrow, I will try to jump on real quick and we'll finish that. And if not, it'll be Sunday. So all right, everyone have a great night. Get lots of rest. Have sweet, sweet dreams. And just enjoy your weekend. Peace, love, and claws, y'all. Oh, and if you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up and the subscribe button so I can try and fix what YouTube's done to me. And I greatly appreciate you guys have all helped me grow. And without you, I could not be where I am. So thank you very much. I'm on my slow growth up. So thank you. All right. Peace, love, and claws, y'all. Good night.